Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate, Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, how dare you, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to join the community debate, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate forum, which you should definitely all join. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patreon, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of those of you who do support me on Patreon. So I'm going to shout out to Adrian Quintana, Alistair Main, Billy Hivolt, Burn Fat Till My Stomach Is As Flat As the Earth, Chow Yun Cat, Dank, David Wayne Foster, Edwin Johnson, Felix Hung, Fireball X, God Rockin, Jeranism, Joshua, Kirsten, Life is Short, Matt, Michael, Naibai, Paige Love, Qatar Craig, Reinhardt, Rene, Sam Hine, Skeptic936, Texas Mike, theflatearthchannel.com, Tina Baker, and Tom Hawkins. Massive shout out to all of you. Now, we are joined by both a Discord and Google Plus server, but we're also joined by Ranty. You were the only one pretty much off mute for that whole intro, Ranty. Do you want to say hello? Great timing as ever, Ranty.
Hello, sorry, I'm on a roof.
Okay, you're on a roof. Okay.
I'm actually on the roof. I'm pointing a chimney, so there you go.
Fair enough. Well, I will invite the Nathan Oakley 1980 audience to enjoy the dulcet tones of whoever the hell is joining us while I set up for the next live show.
Well, Tent, are you still going to present that thing when we go live?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, just go with the
forgot
flow.
you, didn't I, during the live show?
Exactly.
Sorry.
No, nothing to be
Don't
sorry
have to
for.
be
Go
sorry.
with the flow. The show took on its own course. I enjoyed it.
Same.
10th man.
Yeah.
Were you persuaded or influenced by how persuasive Bob from JPL was? He convinced himself and managed to convince me that he'd seen it.
I put on the chat, what about Bob? There was a movie called What About Bob?
It's all about Bob.
Bob the fallacy guy. What a knobhead.
Bob the JPL
Hey,
guy.
what about Rita and Sue? You forgot them.
Bob, Rita and Sue, is that the name of a pornographic movie or something?
Rita, Sue, and Bob too.
Yeah, it's a porno. I knew it.
Okay, time for me to show.
Mr. Cygnus Octaris. Hey, Righteous, why don't you test out that mute button?
Yeah.
Go ahead, right? Just put it up.
In outer space.
You want to talk about what you're thinking about, Bob?
Yeah. I'd like Anthony to read it because...
All right, it's up.
Yeah, it's up. Anthony, why don't you read it? It's only 3 of them, and Righteous will scroll along.
There, Anthony.
Yeah. Sorry, what was the question?
Since you took so much interest in Coriolis, I'd like for you to read these 3 screenshots.
The Coriolis effect is an apparent effect, an illusion produced by a rotating frame of reference. This type of effect is known as a fictitious force or an inertial force. The Coriolis effect occurs when an object moving along a straight path is viewed from a non-fixed frame of reference. Typically, this moving frame of reference is the Earth, which rotates at a fixed speed. When you view an object in the air that is following a straight path, the object will appear to lose its course because of the rotation of the Earth. It doesn't even appear to do it, though, does it? Isn't that the point that Nathan always makes?
Keep reading.
Can't see anymore.
You've gone a bit faint as well, Anthony. A bit quiet.
Sorry, I'm just a bit further away from the mic. I can't see anymore. 10th man.
Well, Righteous got it on the screen.
Right, just can you move it on one to the next page?
It is the
sorry,
second
he's
page.
flicked it over. Sorry, I didn't realize he flicked it over. The object is not actually moving off its course. It only appears to be doing so because the Earth is turning beneath it. The object is not actually moving off its course. It only appears to be doing so because the Earth is turning beneath it. Yeah, it's not actually or apparently moving off its course, though, is it?
No, it is
the
apparently
Earth
moving
was
off its
spinning.
course, according to their rhetoric. So I think the point they're trying to make to you here is that their claim is one reference frame, but the object moving in a straight line, that's your first reference frame, the inertial reference frame, the frame of reference that the projectile will travel through, or the drone hovers in. That's the inertial reference frame. Now, in the claim of Earth-based Coriolis effect, you're supposed to see a deviation, i.e. a hovering drone, i.e. not moving in any position, you're not moving the sticks on the controls, it's hovering. But it should deviate away from you. In other words, because Earth's rotating underneath it, according to their rhetoric, you should actually slowly drift away from the drone.
Keep
Make
reading.
sense? That just doesn't happen. And that's what you highlighted, Anthony. You're saying, well, Nathan, isn't that the point that Nathan makes? Yeah, there is no drift. Drones can hover, as can helicopters. They don't drift away from you, do
It
they?
should be read. It should be. Listen up. Listen for a second. Calm down. This is the way it should be, Anthony, if the Earth was rotating. This is, yeah. You understand that? Yeah. I know we don't see it. Well, that's because the Earth's not spinning. But this is the way it should be.
I still think, although 10th Man's bringing up this thing, the main cause of Coriolis effect is the Earth's rotation. As the Earth spins in a counterclockwise direction on its axis, anything flying or flowing over a long distance above its surface is deflected. I still think we should apply the prove that the Earth's spinning before we argue over this point, because it seems nonsensical to me to even on this one point, because it's so convoluted. Why even have the conversation?
We did this
because
last time.
They use this because they use this as a proof of Earth spinning, Anthony, for the 10th time.
Can you finish reading the second slide and finish with the third, just so we have a full?
Hang on, I just want to add on to that, if you can hear me.
Yeah, go on, read it whilst you got the mic.
He can't see it, he's in Discord.
I'm in Discord, yeah.
This occurs because as something moves freely over the Earth's surface, the Earth moves east under the object at a faster speed.
One last slide.
There's one more? Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on, Babs, nearly there.
Effect occurs when an object traveling in a straight path is viewed from a moving frame of reference. The moving frame of reference causes the object to appear as if it's traveling along a curved path.
That's it.
Yeah, and I've got the full citation in Masterby. You can read the whole thing.
You want me to pull that up?
No. It's just there for anyone who wants to go get and see everything.
All right, so that's it. We're done. I can
Any
stop sharing.
conclusion, or can I let Babs go? 10th Man.
No, let Babs go.
Go ahead, Babs.
Right. Okay, so I'm just looking at what the definition of an inertial reference frame is. An inertial reference frame of reference is one in which the motion of a particle not subject to forces is in a straight line at constant speed. The only thing that I can think of that moves in a straight line is a bullet.
Even then,
so planes don't move in a straight line. Helicopters can't move in a straight line. Balloons can't move in a straight line. Really?
It's also not accurate.
They can, but they're being controlled by the pilot.
But they can. That's all it takes.
But it doesn't necessarily need the straight line to observe Coriolis deviation. If you sit on a roundabout and have a drone hovering above the roundabout, you will experience that drone appearing to fly towards you and fly away from you. That is a Coriolis deflection, an apparent deviation. Well, it's not actually deviating, and it's not moving at all. It's not moving in a straight line, but it's demonstrating Coriolis deviation. So you don't need the straight line. The definition is incorrect by that standard.
Another thing that's confusing about this is, why is an inertial frame of reference not subject to forces? All of the things that we're looking at are all subject to forces.
The force in the regards to Coriolis effect would be the force that is turning you on the inertial, the non-inertial.
So what are we looking at?
Who's talking? What's going on in Google Plus? Hello?
Who's
Sorry,
got
my,
the watch page open or something?
my bad. No.
Force is coming from the fact that the non-inertial reference frame is non-inertial because you're observing the thing that has a trajectory in the inertial frame, and that is the frame that's spinning. So the force would be it's spinning, i.e. it's not subject to that force that's keeping you rotating on the non-inertial reference frame. It's separate from it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So the inertial frame of reference.
So if you see what I'm saying, and you appreciate that they are separate, then you would also appreciate that this retention of angular velocity argument is horseshit in regards to Coriolis effect, when they are quite specifically detailing something that is not retaining velocity, but separate from it in a different reference frame.
Then
It
just
would maintain velocity just because it's maintaining the rotation of Earth.
Yeah, but that's not
It's
Coriolis
maintaining the
effect.
velocity of the rotation of
Sure,
Earth.
maybe. My point is, that's not Coriolis effect though, is it? Because Coriolis effect is the deviation upon becoming in a separate reference frame and being observed from an inertial, a non-inertial spinning reference frame. So the fact that you have two separate from one another, one doing one thing in one reference frame, a bullet, a ball, drone, helicopter, aeroplane, travelling through an inertial reference frame, and you underneath it in a separate reference frame, observing it deviate because you're rotating underneath. Sod all to do with retaining velocity and everything to do with having two frames of reference, one that spins underneath the other.
Exactly. And Zanuck is wrong because he confused a lot of people yesterday when he said there's only one reference frame. Immediately you leave Earth, you're in another reference frame.
Correct.
Period.
Yeah, I explained this to my wife this
There's
morning.
no such thing as not being able to leave reference frames.
Yeah, it's total nonsense. If you jump up and down, you essentially are travelling up into the inertial reference frame and should therefore experience the non-inertial spinning reference frame of the claim to be spinning Earth spin underneath you as you jump. That's what should happen, according to their rhetoric.
Because you're no longer subject to the forces of Earth's rotation.
Right, like the ball that gets kicked and goes through the goal. It's no longer subject to the forces of Earth's rotation, so it travels in a straight line as Earth rotates underneath, according to Neil deGrasse Tyson, moving the goalposts underneath the ball because the ball left the claim to be spinning ball Earth. So you jump up and down, and you should experience landing in a different position, not because you've jumped forward, you've just jumped up, but the ball that's supposed to be spinning rotates underneath you. That doesn't happen though, does it? And it doesn't happen to a drone, it doesn't happen to a helicopter, and you don't get your 1.5 hour flight time from Charlotte to LA because Earth's rotating underneath that either. In fact, nothing exhibits this deviation, which is why we spend all bloody day arguing about angular velocity being retained, when they're supposed to be arguing for us seeing a deviation that simply is not there.
Yeah. And Adam Meakin brought up a really good point on Ranty's show yesterday. Using your example is that a hovering helicopter is covering a larger circumference than a helicopter that's sitting on Earth. But what they're going to say to you is that the rate of acceleration that hovering helicopter is subject to is so minute that you're not going to see it. That's what they're going to say. just to dig themselves out of the hole.
Well, there's two problems with that. Number one, Adam did rough calculations on it, and it's about 40 miles per hour difference. Not insurmountable. That's the first thing, based on the mathematics that Adam roughed together, so I don't want to be held to that. He might do it in a more thorough way when he's not drunk and come up with a slightly different number. But based on his rough mathematics, there is a noticeable amount that it should increase by. That's not the point. The point is, when you go up and you have to cover that greater circumference, you would have to increase velocity, as you rightly correctly identified. The amount that you have to increase is absolutely and totally irrelevant. The fact is, if it's retaining velocity, the only thing it would do is lose that velocity, which they claim it retains. Definitely not increase it. Not only that, if they claim that it's going to be accounting for it with the helicopter would have to physically change its pitch to angle into the air that it's travelling through at the greater velocity. So it'd have to go to great efforts to increase velocity and change its pitch to account for it. Now, what we're talking about in this regard isn't a helicopter that's fighting against the wind at the velocity increasing. We're talking about a hovering helicopter. Something just ascending or staying precisely where it is in its relative space. So we're not talking about things changing their angle. And it's irrelevant, again, because they can't have it increase velocity if they're claiming it's just retaining it. It can't. There's no mechanics there is no mechanics to do that. It is an impossibility. It debunks the claim that it's retaining angular velocity. And that claim in the first instance is a claim they don't have deviation, which is precisely what they're supposed to be using to prove Earth spins.
Exactly.
In order to find the speed of the larger circumference that the helicopter is covering, you would need to know the radius of Earth. Then add the height in miles of the helicopter and use the pi r squared formula to get the circumference of the larger circle.
You don't have to do that. You're correct,
but
you don't have to do that. You're correct, but you don't have to do that is what I'm saying. Nathan answered it. Right. It's a quantitative thing.
Right, okay.
You can't be increasing your velocity from where. I'd have to think about this, but that might be a first law thermodynamics violation. Let me think about that.
You can't. And this all goes back to being able to prove Earth's rotation. That's a key thing here. If you can't prove that Earth is rotating, we shouldn't even be talking about these things.
Yeah, that's my view.
That's Anthony's argument. Bloody hell. Let me just repeat. Right. When we get to the point where they're trying to prove rotation, if you say to them, well, let's prove Earth's rotating first, they will say, oh, no problem. We have this very special effect that we can use to prove it spins. Now, I'm going to give both of you, Anthony and Babs, 3 guesses what the effect they say they're going to use to prove it spins. Go.
Coriolis.
No shit! So saying prove it spins first before we talk about Coriolis, all they'll do is say, Coriolis, you say? Let's talk about that for half an hour and see if we can lose you in fundy double speak.
Yeah, that's what the smart ballers would do. But the less intelligent ballers would just say Bob Nodell.
Yeah, and then we just say, what did Bob Nodell manipulate to prove cause and effect? And then they go, bleh, and they say, sit back down, dickhead. And I hate having to defend Bob as well.
Hey, I got Righteous. Can you put up the last slide I just put up in Master B? This one's specially dedicated to QE from that same article.
Who's putting it?
All right, give me a sec.
Righteous. Okay.
You mean quantum entanglement, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
The Terminator.
Get it right. Globe Terminator brought back from the future.
Globe Terminator.
Who's going to read this?
I'll go and read it. Finally, the Coriolis effect is important to man-made objects as well, especially when they travel long distances over the Earth. Take, for example, a flight leaving from San Francisco, California, that is headed to New York City. If the Earth did not rotate there would be no Coriolis effect, and thus the pilot could fly in a straight path to the east. However, due to the Coriolis effect, the pilot has to constantly correct for the Earth's movement beneath the plane. Without this correction, the plane would land somewhere in the southern portion of the United States.
Horse shit.
It's totally debunked by the assertion that a flight from Charlotte, North Carolina to LA, which isn't having to account for any deviation, it's not drifting because it's moving north slightly or moving south slightly. It's pretty much on the same line the whole time. So the only effect is what they say in this article, or this citation, is their need for correction. Well, what's the cause of the need for a correction? Earth turning underneath the plane, correct? As cited. Well, if the Earth turns under the planes that don't need to correct left or right because they're not changing their line, they would arrive early when travelling west. But they don't. Debunking any notion that any correction's needed, because in there's certain flights that wouldn't need correction, they'd just arrive a shitload earlier.
Not this one. This one would never arrive. Number one.
You got it. You got it.
Number two, how are they correcting for a not real effect?
You don't understand.
Yeah, you don't understand.
But wins. Those wins. Come on, people. Wins.
I'm not getting my question answered. How are they correcting for a not real apparent deflection? Viewed from the non-inertial rotating reference frame.
Yeah, the not actual deflection isn't something they need to account for. The not actual deflection is something you, as an onlooker remaining on the inertial, non-inertial spinning reference frame, in this instance claimed to be a spinning ball Earth, you see the plane seeming to drift. Now that matters not to the plane because the plane's apparently going in a straight line. You seeming to see it drift matters not to the pilot. The only thing the pilot would have to take into account is the fact that Earth's rotating underneath him. Now, in some instances, like Charlotte to LA, he hasn't got to worry about the fact that it's drifting. It'd just arrive a lot earlier. It's as simple as that.
Yep.
But I think I'm going to add a little drama to QE's first comeback, which was beautiful. The flight would never get there.
In this case. Because it's traveling. Yeah. Always interrupting me with poignant and necessary.
I'm on mute.
It gives me a chance to reflect on what I was going to say and rephrase it. It's not an interruption. It's a gift-ruption.
Well done.
Yeah, you're supposed to say that to me, Josh. That's for vanilla saying.
That's Terminator from the future, remember. Not the one here, now.
Isn't it ironic that he said QE, quantum entanglement, was from the future? Wasn't that creepy?
Yeah.
Because it happened on the same day. He didn't know that what I was going to do.
That's
or did he?
Or did he? Yeah.
That's because you're entangled.
Well,
you found your entanglement, John.
So this
he got you.
So this article talks about the Earth moving underneath in so many paragraphs, and the QE just nailed it. At that LA to New York, it's going to be about 860 miles per hour. It's turning west to east. So if the plane's going 500, it would never arrive there. Second, no mention of the atmosphere lockstep. Did you notice that in all the quotes?
Yeah.
Because they're not dumb. Right? There's no intermolecular bonds between gases. Gases aren't attached to themselves. They definitely aren't attaching to anything solid. It's ridiculous. East, north, and south winds implode that Elmer Fudd nonsense in a Planck time. It's absolute moron.
That's a lot of science words.
Increase the enthusiasm now.
Coriolis bullshit. Go to hell, you fucking Glovers.
I still think that we should just say prove Earth turn first.
Yeah, I agree with Anthony.
Oh God.
Anthony, the article said the Earth is turning.
Yeah, I
So
say
we're
that.
going to use them admitting it's turning, and then ask them, how does something underneath turn at 860 miles an hour? And you say a plane is above it, freely moving, as you said in the earlier, is only going 500 miles in the same direction. How's it ever going to get to its destination? It's over.
We need some cowbell.
I got some. If rocks, then shoes.
It could also be sandals, though.
Yeah.
No, that's Jose's flip-flops.
Legolas, silence. Your science level isn't high enough to state that.
Fair enough.
Well, obviously, Legolas didn't have his argument on the ball today.
Okay, now it's getting really, really annoying. Let's stop that.
Yeah,
before
you
we
might not have
actually
the
ruin
science
all
there,
his
Owen.
work.
So, Owen,
Can you
you might not
share
have the
my
science, but
screen,
you've got the
please? Can you
IQ
share my
of
screen?
you've got the IQ of Einstein.
What?
I said you might not have the science, but you've got the IQ of Einstein.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. No, the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcomed back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. Now we are joined by Sleeping Warrior, 10th Man, The One, Quantum Eraser, Chocolate Saiyan, Arwin, Paul, and I think that's about it. We've also got Ranty. Hello, all of you. Good to have you.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
I keep thinking I've missed somebody, but yeah, we're also joined by a whole bunch of people in Discord. Very good to have you everyone in Discord. I love the little noises. Oh, it's never going to get old. Any signs of Earth curvature? Anybody from Discord or Google or Skype? Anybody at all?
Nope.
Not from California.
Determined we're going to get through all the housekeeping questions. Any signs of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
Nope. Just the stars.
Stars. They're not proof of axial rotation.
Nope. Indeed, they aren't.
So not the stars then. Any evidence you can have gas pressure without a container?
Nope.
No? Anybody? Discord?
Nope.
Any evidence of the distance to the sun? High pitch, maybe? Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
Nope.
No?
Not a chance.
Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Absolutely not.
Nope.
No evidence.
Fortunately.
Any evidence of the R value?
R. It's been a long time since somebody said properly R. R.
Be none.
Earth radius? Anybody? Anybody at all?
Nope. Not at all.
Any scientific evidence of gravity?
Gravity is not a force, but you can think of it as a force.
Gravity is not a force, but it's also a force.
Right. Before you can gather scientific evidence of something, first you need to know what it actually does.
Oh, what? Step one of the scientific method. One of many.
Well, you need to qualify what kind of gravity.
What, Einsteinian or Newtonian?
Exactly.
Yeah, you just have to ask. Be specific. Euclidean 3 space or pseudo-Riemannian 4 space. I think that concludes the housekeeping. Got that out of the way this time. First time in about 3 shows. Oh, who just joined? Hello.
Adam.
Adam.
Hi, guys.
Hey,
Get stuff.
You get stuff yourself, you.
Hi, Adam.
You can clear something up. Was it about 40 miles an hour? I know you based your mathematics on going up to about 30,000 feet, i.e. cruising altitude for an airliner. But was it about 40 miles an hour, the difference, based on...
I've got it here, just a sec. Are you on about when we was talking about differential Coriolis for height?
Yeah, we've already qualified to the audience that this is inconsequential.
Yeah, so I took it at 35,000 feet, which I worked out to be 9 kilometers. So that had a circumferential increase of just over 2,300 kilometers. So that worked out to be roughly equivalent to missing tangential speed of 98 kilometers per hour at 35. So obviously that increase isn't linear, but if you was to take it a third, take it slightly less than a third, so call it 20. I mean, I think that's safe enough to conservative enough estimate. If you called it 20 kilometers per hour at 10,000 feet.
Yeah, it has to be 10. It has to be 10,000 feet because we're talking about helicopters.
Sure.
And the highest a helicopter can hover is 10,000.
Okay, well, give me 5 and I'll work it out again.
It's fine. All we need you to say is there is an increase in velocity required to square this circle. That's all we need to hear so we can qualify it for the audience hereafter.
That's correct. Sorry, yeah. You're correct, Nathan. Yep.
By the very nature that what you're presupposing, that you are elevating from the ground, with the ground being the shape of a ball, and if that's supposedly rotating, then if you go higher, then the circumference you create mathematically is a larger circumference than when it was on the ground. So you have to travel more distance in the same time. So the higher the elevation, the more a requirement for an increase in the tangential speed that you're left with.
So you'd have to increase the velocity if you're a helicopter to keep up with the rotating Earth underneath in order to stay in lockstep, as is claimed to be a deviance of the Coriolis effect, also claimed to prove Earth spins, which they wouldn't have to have this effect. But in having this effect, which is also impossible, they'd have to increase the velocity of the helicopter when hovering to match the rotational speed underneath because they've gone up in altitude. Now, if they're claiming, the fundy zealots that argue against the Coriolis deviation they need to prove Earth spins, with this argument of angular velocity being retained or Earth and atmosphere travelling as one, they can't get around the fact, as Adam's just detailed, that as you increase in elevation, you would also find yourself in a position where you get rumpused, because it's poignant, because it's devastating. You'd have to increase the velocity of the helicopter.
It's not done too bad, has it?
Yeah, it's not fucking sore again.
I think it's Ranty doing a bit of business. Yeah, the helicopter would have to increase to match the velocity of the Earth rotating underneath because it's going up in height, therefore increasing its circumference. And that's not possible. It can't increase the velocity that it's retained. That's an impossibility. So it doesn't matter if it's 1 mile an hour or 50 million miles an hour. The fact that it would have to increase that velocity debunks the assertion outright.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. like I said, my only, and it kind of contradicts you a little bit, but my only mitigation would be that thing would be so small. But if you consider how a helicopter hovers and the position it has to maintain to hover, and what it has to do to affect a motion in any particular direction, and how that will affect the orientation of the helicopter with respect to the ground, it would imply that certainly if this tangential speed is being gained, it's not being compensated for by the helicopter. It would have to gain it from somewhere else, because by observance of the position of the helicopter, you can see it's not applying a force to make up for the missing speed. That makes sense.
Yeah, not only that, I think someone, it might have been on the Discord panel, pointed out on the previous show that you'd have to make very, very accurate calculations to know how much to compensate to keep up with that tangential velocity. You know, you'd have to make pinpoint accurate measurements just to remain hovering.
Yeah.
No. It should do it by itself. No intervention.
What do you mean? I don't follow.
There should be no intervention by the pilot whatsoever. It should just do it.
I know what Kiwi is saying here. I was just writing it down.
No, I've just twigged. Because it's just ascending, it's not doing it, it's just ascending, right? Now, if they're saying it just remains in lockstep, at this point, I think you're right. It violates the first law. It's creating energy from nothing in order to do that, to keep up with the rhetoric.
Yep. I was thinking about that. I was thinking about that yesterday, but I didn't want it. I figured we beat this over the head so much that it wasn't necessary, but I'm thinking it's a first law violation.
If you do follow that in terms of energy transfer, then, John, then the only supposed way that you could add additional speed to keep up with the increasing air velocity as you go up would be to gain that increased energy from the air. But if you follow the laws of energy, yeah, that's what I'm saying. You wouldn't be able to gain sufficient additional energy from the thing that's going at that speed. It might increase the speed, but it wouldn't get you back up to that speed, because it wouldn't be a totally efficient system. You're going to get lots of energy in transfer.
Yeah, precisely. You got it. Exactly. Yeah.
In other words, as you put it,
anyway.
it can't adjust. It's got to be doing it automatically as it goes up and hovers. It can't be gaining it from its own engines or anything like that. It just has to violate the first law of thermodynamics to do it.
Yeah, doesn't it?
I think so. Yeah, it's got to create energy from nothing. It's not that you've got to have the engine compensate. That's where you corrected me. It's literally just got to gain velocity from nowhere.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, first law violation.
So basically what you're saying, John, is the helicopter pilot gets up to 10,000 feet. He's looking at his gauges, and all of a sudden, without him adding any power, the gauges go crazy on their own.
You would have to inherently. We're so far down the nonsensical buffoonery trail that this is just, I don't even know if it's icing on the cake.
No, it's not icing on the cake. This is the end of a non sequitur part of their argument. So someone asserts that you've got this effect called Coriolis that proves Earth spins. And you go, okay, you highlight where the contradiction lies. If the Earth spins underneath the pendulum, then it would also spin under the plane. Then you get to this, which is what we're explaining the tail end of now, which is when they get to the point that they don't have the deviation they need to prove it spins, and they start justifying why they don't have the deviation. So you're into Earth and atmosphere travelling as one, or the angular velocity retention. Is that correct? Either way, either or, they're saying that the reason we don't see the needed proof of Earth spin is because, and that falls on its arse too, because when they claim that you retain the velocity of the spinning non-inertial frame of the claimed to be spinning Earth, upon leaving and raising in altitude, the distance that you travel in order to remain above an X that's below you as you ascend, you'd have to get speed from nowhere to increase the velocity because you're going on an increased circumference. The further out you go from the centre point of that ball claimed to be spinning, then the greater the distance. Therefore, the speed is increased, and you're not getting that from a retention of the angular velocity of the ball because it's increasing.
The retention of angular velocity, I like that. It's just conservation of momentum, but I like it. Retention of angular velocity.
Is that an incorrect phraseology?
I don't think, no, they just call it conservation of momentum, but no, I don't think it would be.
Retention of angular velocity, the angular velocity being the velocity it turns at, the retention being keeping hold of it. I don't know if they call it what? Angular momentum what?
No, it's just the conservation of momentum.
Conservation of momentum.
Yes, but I like it, the spin you put on it. No pun intended.
As humorous as you are profound.
Silence!
Should you ever listen in on Ranty's conversation for a bit?
Two.
Jesus, I've been talking all that time and I was on mute.
Can you hear us, Ranty? No.
I was wondering why nobody talked back to me. Damn.
Who's he talking to? His therapist?
No, I think he's just at work and hasn't realised he's not on mute, so I've just muted the line. Don't worry. Ranty will eventually figure it out.
I wouldn't bet on that.
Guess now is a good time to share that video since we didn't get to see it in the last show.
What's the video on?
I'm still having it open, waiting.
Okay,
What's
go
it
ahead.
about?
Go on. Yeah, brilliant.
With the moon.
This is Jibby Jedi.
That's about the moon.
You want to introduce it, Babs? You tell us again if you want to repeat what it is.
Sure. This is it's not an experiment, but it's just a demonstration of what the moon could be. And basically what Jibby did was he's inside a car with this light that he's pointing at, I think it's either his windscreen or the window right next to him on the passenger seat. And what he does is he starts blocking this light with his finger, and he's able to like imitate the waxing and waning phases of the moon, and it looks very convincing. And yeah, I mean, like a lot of people talk about the moon being some kind of reflection, and this is by far the best example I've seen of that being demonstrated.
Whenever you're ready, the one.
Playing it.
Hello everyone, Jibby Jedi here. Little experiment. So what are we looking at when we're looking at the moon? Some people believe we're looking at a solid spherical object in the sky, deep in space, place the astronaut landed 1969 to 1972. I personally don't believe that. What I believe is we're looking at some kind of reflection in the sky off of this dome or firmament or whatever it is. And maybe we can have an unscheduled eclipse here. Here we go.
That's hilarious.
So, what are we looking at? During the phases of the moon, we never see the circle complete. You should be seeing, if it was up in space, seeing the circle complete with maybe a brown or a black darkened nighttime perspective of the moon. Some will say, you can't see black space and whatnot, but never really made any sense. But if the moon is of light being reflected off glass, it's what we would be seeing. Is what we're seeing. New moon. Where's the black dot in the sky? That would be the new moon. A black circle. Full moon. Now, what are we seeing with this moon? Could be a light in the sky reflecting off of the firmament. I don't know. But this is an experiment you can all do yourself. See what you come up with. Oh yeah. What are we looking at exactly?
I take it that the window he's reflecting it off is that?
Chippy Jedi. Hope you are all well. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, the one. Superb.
That's cool.
Yeah, I assume it's a flat window.
But that is kind of, proof against a round dome, really.
First things first. Not an experiment.
Yeah.
That's not an experiment.
We're going to be going over that this weekend on Ball Busters. It's the master science presentation, man. Master.
Awesome.
So for two days.
Is that going to be a live Ball Busters?
It will be live. I'll plug it. So 2 days if you're watching this live right now on Nathan Oakley channel. So to the limited live audience that we currently have. Hello to all of you in Nathan Oakley. 2 days from now, so Saturday. But if you're watching on Nathan Oakley 1980 on this as a premiering stream on Friday, and obviously tomorrow 8 p.m. UK. Jesus, Ranty. 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, 8 p.m. UK on the Quantum Eraser YouTube channel. Be here or be sphere for Ball Busters Live. Yeah.
Early bird show.
Be there.
Okie dokie.
Early bird.
Slick.
2
Real
p.m.
slick.
Amsterdam time, 1 p.m. London time. On my channel, Arwin, ARWIJN.
Look at any time, just not over the top of a Ball Busters plug. Any time you like, literally. Anyway, right, superb.
We might have to split that up because it's a pretty large presentation. I'm thinking maybe 2. It might be 3 splits. So
just to I need to just stick a correction in, guys, if I can. I shouldn't do maths when I'm drunk like I was on Wednesday night. Yeah, it works out 0.78 kilometers per hour at 10,000 feet.
0.78
kilometers per hour, yeah. So the increased circumferential difference at that height is 19 kilometers. So divide that by 24. You've got to cover an additional 0.78 kilometer per hour. So if you were hovering, staying flat with your achieved tangential speed, then you would drift off at that rate at 0.78. You would appear to be drifting, even though your helicopter is positioned horizontal underneath the ground. The consequence of that is also that the Earth would start to curve away from you, wouldn't it, at that rate as well?
Actual Coriolis effect will appear.
So your gyros then start to kick out that way.
Sure. I bet, as I said originally, all that really matters is, did you say it's qualitative, Huey?
Not quantitative, yeah.
So,
yeah, it's qualitative. Yeah.
So,
I don't care what quantity is, as long as it's point 0.000000000000001. Yeah, they're screwed.
Yeah, because it violates the first law. So long as there's an increase, it doesn't matter what the number is afterwards. It can't increase. That's the bottom line. But it must, to conform with their model. Not
What's
even to
increasing,
hold on, that's wrong.
or what should
I just want to self-correct. Not even to conform with their model, to defy their model, which actually needs the deviation they're fighting against with this example. Just to be correct.
Yeah.
What model? What are we talking about?
When they're talking about angular, the retention of the velocity of the spinning ball Earth being transferred to something that leaves that non-inertial spinning reference frame, that description is a defiance of Coriolis effect. It's not giving you any deviation. So it's not in line with their model. It's actually fighting against their model because their model claims there should be a deviation, and they're justifying why there isn't.
What's heliocentric model?
Say again?
What heliocentric model?
What model? Yeah, just the
Yeah,
this.
that was my question. Yeah.
They're simply stuck together. Yeah,
Bloody Oakley and his model.
Don't put this on me. It's not mine.
How you doing, brother?
Adam.
Not too bad. How are you?
Yeah. Thanks for putting up with me the other night, Owen. You're a gentleman. I apologise.
Putting up with you? Are you kidding me?
I can't remember much of it.
Well, it was mostly George that I had to put up with. So, or who was it? It was George, right?
Yeah. Zach said I might have been a little rude.
When I came in,
no, you
George
weren't.
was rumpusing the hell out of you, Adam.
Yes.
I was like, what the hell is this? What kind of madness is going on Ranty's channel right now?
Yeah, the only real problem that I saw was basically a tactical one, and that is that you thought that you could keep talking, but you couldn't hear it because he was just louder. So
yeah, I just thought I'll keep talking just so he knows I'm not listening.
Nah, he doesn't. Neither does Rumpus. He's on that level when they don't respond to that anymore. Just
who are you talking about? Mr. Closed Thermos is an open system.
The Grand
George
Pontiff.
Netanuk.
Grand Pontiff.
Clown.
Just something flat Earth related. Like I want to point out that recently I've noticed around me, my friends of mine, and other people that it's been talked all over the place. Everybody talks about flat Earth everywhere.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was most pleased in the week. I was off yesterday, and one of the locums that was in, I'd left one of the leaflets I picked up at the convention, Nathan, around, and he was apparently thoroughly engrossed. Wanted a link for Iron Realm Media tomorrow night, 10:30. They have no spare, so he's going to tune into that, and that's even one of my locum pharmacists. So he was no prompting, just picked it up himself and was intrigued. So it's spreading.
Actually, again, if you're watching live, that's tomorrow. But for the majority of people, because we get a limited live audience at the moment, but most people will watch this show on Nathan Oakley 1980, and for them, it's actually directly after this show. So Ranty doesn't tend to do a live show on a Friday, but you do on Iron Realm Media. So if you're watching this on Nathan Oakley 1980, immediately after this show, well, after the after show finishes, I'll do another plug and put links if I'm watching to the Ironworks, correct? That's the name of the show, isn't it?
No, it's Have No Sphere on a Friday night. Tomorrow morning, as we speak, Friday mornings is the Ironworks on TFR. But it's Have No Sphere tomorrow night, 10:30 on YouTube.
So the show that's following this one after the after show is Have No Sphere on Iron Realm Media. So that's 10:30 p.m. UK time, 3:30 p.m. Central Standard. Iron Realm Media, be here or be sphere.
On Friday.
On Friday, Yeah, for the Nathan Oakley 1980 audience. If you're watching live, I'm sure you appreciate why this is so confusing. It's always the same.
Oh, right, yeah. I get it.
Don't make it more confusing than it already is, Alvin.
Hey,
Silence,
Nathan.
Legolas. Go on, Ted.
Just that if a show is a day specific, then
I was just about to
always
say
the
that. That
day.
sounded exactly.
Oh, sorry.
Quantum entanglements coming from you to you from the future. That's all you need to know.
Hey, Nathan, the comment you made, limited live audience, any connection to the globe zombies that follow your show with that statement?
I don't think I understood the question.
You said you have a limited live audience, and I was wondering if there was any connection with that sentence to the globe zombies that follow your show.
Yep.
He does it
Big
again.
Connection. Man.
It's getting hard work keeping up with you, Tam, because you have to listen to whatever you say and figure out whether it's something serious or a pun, or whether there's a bit of play on words in there. It's although I did like the pupils joke yesterday.
That wasn't
Yeah,
him.
that was good. That was actually good.
Oh, no, that was him.
I got that from my friend Iris.
Oh, terrible.
Oh my God, bro!
Terrible.
You have a book on this, man? Like, what's going on here?
What's going on?
Got it from Iris.
Oh my God.
That's terrible. Why am I laughing? That's terrible.
Okay.
Well, you can think of it as terrible, but it's not actually terrible.
No, they're only funny if they come from 10th Man.
I gotta learn the name of the coffee that Vanilla Saiyan had, so I can repeat that, because I don't drink shit like that.
I got
I don't
that.
drink.
I'll tell you what. Yeah, when that man said that, I almost spit out my 13-shot Tall Buddy Soy Caramel Moccaletti with extra right mocha. No phone.
Yeah, that was incredible.
Oh my God.
Chocolate, is that coffee as well accelerated like yours? Or?
That and 10th man's fart, or nth man's fart. That was hilarious.
Got that covered, chocolate.
Thanks, man. Thanks. That was awesome. 'Cause I was just like, what the hell did he just say? I don't drink that shit. That's like some Starbucks nonsense. I don't know what that is. I need my coffee black with sugar. Oh, man.
I want to know, is it accelerating as well, this one?
Oh, of course. I mean, if you ask Mr. R.C. Meisty, my coffee cup sitting on the table is definitely accelerating. So it's moving and not moving at the same time, apparently. This is where we're at. We're being convinced everything is moving and nothing is moving all together.
What happened to
Well,
Brendan?
you have to look at it from the right reference frame. Otherwise, you don't understand.
Oh, well, that depends on who you ask, because some people think there's no such things as reference frame. Things don't go from one reference frame to another, right?
You don't know what a reference frame is.
It all depends on who you're asking, because they can't even get their story straight on this nonsense.
Well,
Which is why they have no.
There may be. You don't know what a reference frame is. That's the
There
whole
may
problem.
be.
Oh God. Define reference frame.
Well, they supposedly can be at the same place at the same time.
Then you have no Coriolis. That's it.
Don't forget they're saying that you can move it and stand still at the same time too, so don't forget about that.
Yeah, that's
literally what I just said.
Right, just going to do a quick shout outs to Awaken Narrative. Don't care what they say about John, he's awesome. Meaning Quantum Eraser.
meaning Terminator.
I second that.
Who are they?
Awaken Narrative, Super Chatter. Thank you, Awaken
No.
Narrative. And then another Awaken Narrative says, damn what they say. Huey is the flat out truth. Thank you for the super chats, Awaken Narrative.
Thank you. Appreciate that. And I would just like to add, question, who are they?
Well, the ones I was talking about, which is loud where I'm at, so I probably didn't say much, are like Vanek and Danny T. They're saying you can move and stand still at the same time.
No. I'm talking about in the message. I don't care what they say. Who are they?
The haters, I think,
Haters.
is implying. It's only got a limited amount of text. So the haters.
I'd like somebody to tell me who they
Your
are.
fans.
Anybody who says you're not awesome because he says you're awesome.
Traitors.
Hey QE, do you like westerns?
Depends.
On what?
What type of
QE.
Western it is.
Well, I just figured that you're old enough that you would probably know what this is. You ever seen those westerns, Trinity? That is you and Nathan in a debate.
God. Yeah.
I think you know what I'm talking about. Slap, slap, slap.
Can we do this with milk?
Clearly, this is before my time, right?
Yeah, it's great. Trinity's great, man.
You gotta watch him. Gotta watch him, Nathan.
Is that like the Italian duo?
It's almost like a spaghetti western.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
hilarious.
Them, oh, they're great. Especially the card trick scenes. It's just insane. It's so hilarious. Love it.
Do you know the part where I was talking about? Can we do this with milk?
Right, because he's always playing such a goody two shoes. It's hilarious.
No. He was
He's
doing
not. He's a total schemer.
No. He was doing a. There was a competition in shooting in a saloon, and they were throwing up shot glasses, and you had to drink before you shot. And while he was drinking, he looked over. He said, "Can we do this with milk?"
I missed that. Don't remember that.
Classic scene. I'll try to get it for you. Hold on.
And QE, you just admitted that you drank chocolate milk, so you're right there, man. You're right there.
Yeah, right in there. Yeah.
Westerns. It's a bit off topic. Do you remember the other day we were talking about Back to the Future? You know, in part 3 they hang Marty McFly. Did you know that they actually hung Michael J. Fox by the neck for that shot, and they had to. They did it a few times, and on one of the takes, the one they used, of course, because it was the most realistic, when he's choking, they just thought he was doing a really good job of acting, when in reality, he's actually choking.
Oh my god.
They had to revive him. They had to actually revive him. So they essentially hung Michael J. Fox.
Oh, shit. I didn't know.
Wow. Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that stopped filming for the day.
Typically down.
They
down his
cut him
name,
down,
right?
revived him, and then that stopped filming.
Wow.
Steven Spielberg, everyone.
That's how you do it properly.
Yeah, you found out who they are. So shout out to Awaken Narrative for the super chat. It says Crayon Munchers hate QE because he's too flat. They are
Crayon munchers have feelings. We don't care about feelings. Nobody cares about that shit. Man up.
So Constance Burns says, Nathan Oakley, it's a story anyway. Yep, that's certainly the narrative they put out there. May be complete bullshit, Constance, you're correct. Shouldn't be so swift to just parrot it.
Yeah, Good one. I take it that when in the third movie, I think either one of them was dragged around. Yeah, it was Marty, right? He was dragged after a horse before
Yeah, that's
getting
the scene.
right?
So they drag him around by a horse, and the same rope gets thrown
I
over
think-
the courthouse, and then they hang him by the same rope they dragged him round by. But all that went fine, except for when they hung him.
But he did that with a stunt double, right? The dragging part, I take it.
Maybe, maybe not. But that's the scene. You've got the right scene. They drag him around right at the beginning, then they string him up, and then the whole timeline narrative gets messed up because Doc comes along and shoots him down while he's hanging. Remember? He's got a great big long gun ready to shoot him down, implying that he already knows what's going to happen because he's standing there with a giant gun ready to shoot him down. Anyway.
Hey, anyway, I put the Trinity, the one I was talking about, in the comments here in the Hangout. I put the link there, so have fun.
Secretly, I'm just
Anybody
trying
hear
to...
a tombstone guy?
Oh,
No, that Trinity. I was actually thinking of the bar fight scene where he just slaps the guy senseless. The shooting one's funny too, but in in a debate or whatever, it's just so funny when you think about the two of them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's part of my favorite scene as well.
Oh, so that was Chocolate. I forgot you were there. You may leave now. Too funny.
I'm your Huckleberry.
Yeah,
There's also one where the guy where he takes the other guy's guns out of his holsters.
Yeah, right. I'm in my prime.
That's right. That's right. I'm your Huckleberry. That's just my game.
Oh, are these where all those references come from? I'm your Huckleberry.
Tombstone. Yeah, man. Tombstone. We're talking about westerns. Tombstone is up there, man.
Well, Chocolate, if I didn't think you were my friend, I don't know if I could bear it.
Yeah, because only half of us have know what this show is. This borderline in jokes.
That's the fun of it.
That's all right, because there are no defenders of the globe who have stepped up to try to defend their non-existent globe. So we tell jokes.
That said, I'm
Why
glad.
not?
Talking about old westerns and Back to the Future is normally the thing that'll entice somebody in the Discord server to think we're all drongos and tell us that we've got Coriolis or something, or gravity is a force, or something along those lines.
Gravity is a force, and I'm in Discord.
There we go. Was that Darren?
That was some good bait.
Yeah, last time when you were talking about Back in the Future and some idiot came and got destroyed. So good.
Harks back to a conversation with Anthony. He was like, "You're doing too good a job of destroying these people. Got to tone it down a bit." I'm like, "Don't worry about it. One day we'll just be talking, chit-chatting about," I can't remember the example, but because there is now one, Back to the Future, and then someone just toddles along in Discord and goes, guys, hello. Don't you realise the Earth's a spinning ball flying through a vacuum, idiots?" Talking about Back to the Future. And very quickly, whatever their argument is, I can't remember, it gets taken to pieces in the usual fashion. You just need those momentary lapses where we seem like fundies or, what's the word, conspiratards.
Nathan, just to remind you, I think he was on about the model and he didn't realize there is no model.
A model, yeah, that was it. Timeanddate.com, affirming the consequent. If time and date, heliocentric model, because time and date, right?
Yeah. Oh, gold. Are there westerns shot at the East Coast?
What?
So they're Easterns.
Are there Easterns?
You mean like the Far East?
Not like the East Coast of America.
Well, I
We're
think
still in
that
the West, though,
westerns
aren't
were
we?
technically shot all over the world, not just western,
So where is True West then?
just where there's good desert and raw terrain.
Wherever there would be cowboys.
Oh, the studio
And
bring the
cowbell.
cowboys.
It's all about the cowbell.
Right. Hey, and back in the day, they really used to make the sets really expanded, like big sets. So, yeah.
That's it. Keep it up, Arwin. Make us sound really dumb.
Okay. Thanks for that.
Come on, fundies. Share your pain.
Yeah, fishy.
I packed 1,500 pounds of concrete on my shoulders yesterday. That was not painful at the time, but it is now.
Any particular reason? Just buff?
Maybe he wants his arguments a bit more concrete.
Boom, boom.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Oh man.
Oh man, I almost spit out my 13-shot tall buddy soy caramel macchiato with an extra right mocha. No foam.
Excellent.
That's some exhilarating coffee.
Okay, John, how the hell do you remember that crap? You drink coffee like that, John?
I'm sorry, I called them interruptions. They're more like joy eruptions.
Chocolate likes it black with sugar and accelerated.
Those.
Flatsoid published a meme in Master B. It was about a brain-eating zombie that went inside NASA headquarters and starved to death.
Ready? Ready at all.
Let's get this party started. How can you have a vacuum without a container?
Can't.
I asked somebody that this morning on Discord, and he said, well, you can't. I was like, well, that's interesting, being that you go outside and you look in the sky and you say, that's a vacuum up there.
Yeah.
He had no response.
Don't look at it. It will suck your eyeballs out. Because vacuum sucks, you know.
He was literally like, you could see the vacuum up there. I was like, so you have vacuum vision. You can see vacuums up there. Wow. Okay.
Hold on. He's correct, because that's Xanax position, remember?
Vacuum vision.
Oh, Lord.
Because vacuums suck. That's what he said.
It'll suck your eyeballs out of your sockets, but we still have air.
Your
Poor
vision is vacuum.
Vacuum vision.
I still can't quite get over the fact that Professor Dave alleged that flat earthers can't tell the difference between the sky vacuum, the violation of the second law of thermodynamics known as outer space, and a domestic vacuum cleaner. And on, I think it's now 3 separate occasions, different Globehead fundies have used that false equivalence and mistakenly identified the effects of a domestic vacuum cleaner as though they were the effects of their funded belief in a second law of thermodynamics violation known as the vacuum of the sky or outer space. That's definitely happened on, I think it's 3 occasions, could be 2, but I think it's 3. So Professor Dave, I'm pretty sure it was him that did that. You've got to get your facts straight. It's your own side that do that.
Yeah, he's not the brightest professor, isn't he?
Maybe Professor Dave would like to show up here and we can talk about it one day.
Oh, yeah?
Hey, does Professor Dave's video come on after any one of Nathan's that you watch? The Flat Earth debates?
Not for me.
It comes after every single video that I watch.
Are you subscribed to Professor Dave?
Yep, Professor Dave, response to Globebusters, blah, blah, blah. Comes on after every single one of your videos for me.
Stop watching him.
Yeah, I've never heard him till then. I gave him a dislike though. I watched his video.
That's why they keep publishing
After
it to you.
throwing it in front of me.
Ah, you see. You've answered your own question. So because you watched and interacted with his content, YouTube now knows you're a sucker for his content. See me, I don't think I've ever actually watched Professor Dave. I seldom watch any of this stuff, to be honest. You know, normally I'm fresh when someone like Bob the Science Guy comes on and he's like, haha, my challenge that you failed. I'm like, who are you again? Because I don't know who it is. I've not watched his stuff. But therefore it doesn't get advertised to me. Say again, Chocolate?
Mr. Cygnus Octaris.
Cygnus Octaris, yeah.
Well, I don't know. Autoplay just threw it in there.
All right, we got Zanuck in the house.
Oh, yay.
Ooh.
Good morning,
Mr.
Zanuck.
Single reference frame that you never leave.
Wait, did I take him off?
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
funny
so-
when you get into definitions how much they make, how much sense they make.
Oh yeah, that's the guy that's
funny.
It's funny that you don't understand a reference frame. That's not my issue.
It's funny that you have no shame, Zanuck. Good to see you.
Well,
though,
why
by
don't
the
you
way.
give us your version of what a reference frame is then?
Wait, let's introduce him properly. Let's introduce
The
him
version
properly.
of a reference frame.
Blame it on the rain. Yeah, yeah.
The only way that you understand this is by talking amongst yourselves incorrectly.
So we're talking incorrectly?
It's a pretty
How
simple
are we
concept.
talking
reference frames,
incorrectly?
Actually,
How are we talking incorrectly?
well, you're speaking
Well,
incorrectly.
you've had a whole day to brush up on it, so let's hear it, bud.
So reference frame is just the point of view.
Are we talking with food in our mouth? Is that what you're trying to portray?
Anything, wherever
Yeah,
you
tell-
are,
tell me your
and wherever
face.
you're looking, that's the reference frame. It's a point. It's a point on a coordinate system. It's really simple. And you want to be on that point or be in that coordinate system, so be it. You don't leave it. You don't leave a coordinate system.
Don't leave.
Yeah,
the
and you have no
system.
Coriolis effect.
It doesn't make any sense to leave
couple of questions,
a reference
Zanuck.
frame.
Let's see how quickly we can whip this down the drain. So, the claim to be spinning ball Earth, that would be a non-inertial spinning reference frame, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would.
So it's spinning. That's one frame. Pendulum, in the Foucault pendulum, that's absolutely, definitely not spinning. It's only moving in a straight line. That's a different second reference frame, isn't it, Zanuck?
That would be an inertial reference frame.
So that's two reference frames then.
If it's not spinning, if it's sitting there,
Yeah, so that's two reference frames, correct?
I can give you I can give you 1,000,000 reference frames if you'd like.
Yeah, no, we just want the one that's alleged to claim the Earth spinning. That would be a
Okay.
pendulum as one reference frame. Also, could be a ball that you throw, right? Like on a roundabout. The ball
pendulum and the Earth.
Zanuck, you fundy little bitch. Contain your squirming till I've got my devastating example out. Okay? So, it could also be a ball, not just the pendulum. In the example of a roundabout, so I'm going to juxtapose it with a roundabout. No longer spinning ball Earth, just a roundabout that's spinning also, like the Earth is claimed to spin. Well, when you throw the ball, like the pendulum... Yeah, you little bitch. Wait till the devastating example has finished, fundy bitch. So the ball, like the pendulum, that's also in the inertial frame of reference, isn't it, Zanuck? Yes, Nathan, it is. That's right. You understand this really well, don't you? That's right. Yeah, I do, Zanuck. Yeah. So the ball is like the pendulum.
One more time. We get it clear.
Yeah, I am clear. The ball, the pendulum, the drone, the helicopter, the aeroplane, they're all travelling in a straight line through the inertial frame of reference. Separate. Not the same. Separate from the claim to be spinning ball Earth. That's right, Nathan. You're really clever. You get this really well, don't you? Yeah, I do, yeah. So much so, I'm going to rape you with it. That's right, Zanuck, yeah. So the ball and the pendulum...
Knock yourself out. Let me bend over. Go ahead, give it to me, Nathan.
Yeah, I will. I will. Yeah, you bite the pillow and brace for it, because it's going to hurt, Fundy. The ball and the pendulum, the plane, the helicopter and the drone are all claimed to be in the inertial frame of reference. And if that's true, and it's claimed the Earth rotates underneath the inertial frame, that would be the non-inertial frame of the claim to be spinning ball Earth, then a plane in that inertial frame would take 1.5 hours to fly from Charlotte to LA. Now, the fact that it doesn't absolutely destroys any notion of us having these two separate frames of reference, one being a claim to be spinning Earth, because if it was, it would spin under pendulums, balls, helicopters, planes and drones that are in the inertial frame, separate from the claim to be spinning ball Earth.
If you could take a step back, you might be able to understand.
Goodbye,
Why don't you
Zanuck.
let one of your cronies, one of your backup guys, step in and try to take this one, because you're obviously confused.
That's an ad hominem attack. So that would be a rebuttal that used a logical fallacy. So what he did was address me, the man, in terms of my understanding of this argument, rather than addressing the fact that we have two claimed to be reference frames in the example of a reification of a spinning ball Earth flying through a vacuum. Now, in that example, you have a frame of reference that is claimed to be proven spinning by having things travel through a separate inertial reference frame and move in a straight line. Examples given such as aeroplanes, balls, pendulums, gyroscopes, and drones. The only problem with that assertion is you would actually need the Earth to spin underneath these things, and it absolutely does not.
No, they don't, actually.
Yeah, so it debunks any notion that it's spinning. No proof of spin then. No deviating drones, helicopters, or anything other than nothing happening. Now, unfortunately, that route for you of arguing about why it doesn't happen has been cut off in these last couple of shows, Zanuck. You can't now argue about why it doesn't deviate, because you need it to deviate.
5 seconds.
Ah, yeah, you wriggling starts, doesn't it, you little bastard? Yeah, I caught you lying last time. No, not all in one frame, as you asserted, lying bastard. 2 frames. Inertial and non-inertial. So no, we've already caught you lying to my audience. You're not to be trusted. And your example of a spinning ball Earth needs things to deviate. Those things would be planes, drones, helicopters, and what you say the pendulum does. That is, have the Earth rotate underneath that pendulum. It's just a shame it doesn't happen and the planes and the drones don't demonstrate that.
You want to know where you're correct? I'm more than happy to correct you if you'd like. You talk about the anhydromena, I'll give you the actual correction. You're in an inertial reference frame, that means you're not moving or accelerating. You're in a non-inertial reference frame, that means you and everything around you is accelerating or rotating.
We're not talking about you when we talk about the inertial reference frame. We're talking about a projectile. I'm not flying through the inertial frame, you absolute dipshit.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not. I am not a projectile. I am not a helicopter. I am not a drone. I am not a gyroscope. I am observing this. Now, George Netanyahu made it one of the comments to make it important and highlighted that it's about the observation. So I am not flying, I am observing. Go on, wriggle, you fundy bitch. Wriggle, swim for me, you little fundy bitch. Do it. Carry on. Go on, fucking wriggle. Yeah, it's about the observation. So no, I'm supposed to be remaining on this non-inertial spinning frame to observe the projectile. So no, I'm not flying, dipshit.
Frame. That's why it curves. That's how
it, not me. It being the projectile.
If they don't follow Newton's laws, then you know you are in a
They and you. All he's doing is trying to double speak around the projectile and me, the observer. I've already caught you, Zanuck.
You're not even under.
Nah, that's it. Project double speak onto me. I've just literally pointed out his double speak. He's now flipping between you and it. You being the observer and it being the projectile. He's even stated that I do fly through the inertial reference frame. No, I do not.
It don't leave reference frames.
It don't leave reference frames.
Coordinate system. It's a coordinate system. That's simple.
Oh, it's a coordinate system. What, a reference frame?
That's how it works. You don't
What,
leave
a reference frame?
Everything.
What's a coordinate system? A reference frame?
That system.
What's a coordinate system? You just seem to be double speaking and fitting and rumpusing.
In it wouldn't deviate. Hey, Nathan.
Hey, Zanuck, you're fucked, mate.
Deviation. Stop talking for a second and let me finish.
No, you're a lying bastard. I owe you no quarters, and I'm not going to give you any. You double-speaking, lying, fundy fuck. No!
Ignofundy. Listen. The object would not deviate unless you were in the non-inertial frame of reference.
Yeah, I understand that. You'd have to remain on the non-inertial spinning reference frame to observe the item that is in the inertial frame, not deviating. Yeah? I understand this.
If you're in the non-inertial frame of reference.
Yeah, if you're in the non-inertial frame of reference, then you're not flying through the inertial one now, are you, dipshit?
You look at how things behave. That determines you if you're in a non-inertial frame of reference. That determines whether you're accelerating or rotating. It's very simple. You keep on talking over me and missing the point here, Nathan. You don't leave reference frames.
You ain't saying anything. You are not saying anything.
You don't leave reference frames.
You don't need reference frames, even though a non-inertial and an inertial reference frame is the essence of what is required to demonstrate a not actual deviation called the Coriolis effect.
In the universe, you could be outside in a reference frame that you're looking at, and you could be accelerating.
You do not need reference frames. In a universe, you can be in a reference frame.
Yep. He's a clown.
Just out of interest, I've got one more question for you, Zanuck. Just one more question.
Is that the point here?
No, I've got one more question.
All we care about is the frame of reference that you're in. If you're
you just said quite explicitly that it's not about frames of reference, so I'm not going to hear you ever mention those words ever again, because it's not about that, according to you.
Reference frame.
Yeah.
You don't need two reference frames. You don't need one reference frame. That's not how it works. You don't jump from reference frame to reference frame. Hey, I want to go to this reference frame and visit.
You do not know. Let's just unpack what he's just said. No, you, the observer, do not jump between reference frames. Yeah? I've already caught you out. You've already been rumbled. You're never gonna get this past me ever again, you stupid fuckwit.
Just talking over me doesn't make you right.
I'm not talking over you.
Listening. You're not listening.
I'm not talking over you.
You're talking over me.
No, I'm not. I'm concisely unpacking your double speak.
Yes, you are. Anyone listening can see this is obvious.
Yeah, I'll just unpack it again. Let's just do it concisely again. Yeah? He has stated, you do not jump reference frames. Now, that's quite an explicit statement and correct, because you, the observer, do not fly through the inertial reference frame the projectile you're observing does.
No, that's not how it works. You're in everything that you can see is in the non-inertial reference frame. Everything. You, the ball, the surface around you, even the things outside of the things you see that are not spinning or accelerating are in your non-inertial reference frame. The universe around you is still in that non. That's why when the guy in the park bench, you're on a merry-go-round, seems like he's orbiting you. He's in his own inertial reference frame.
Let me get it right. You just stated that the guy on the park bench seems like he is orbiting you.
You got to be kidding me. Why is this so hard to understand?
That's what he just stated.
You're
you said
a friggin' clown that needs to be institutionalized.
He just said
you're a clown.
The guy on the park bench seems to be orbiting you.
Don't get it either.
You seem to be talking over me, Zanuck.
Figure it out. You determine if you're in a non-inertial reference frame if things don't follow Newton mechanics properly.
No, the laws of Newton were not right.
Yeah, that's right. Richard Feynman. Newtonian laws of motion were not right. Clown.
Oh God, here you go again. Espousing to understand Newtonian versus Einsteinian physics. Yeah, let's go here. Let's hear quantum go off.
Go
his
here.
ignorance.
You can't go anywhere.
Has any Coriolis been demonstrated by you, Zanuck?
don't
I just walked back in. Have you demonstrated anything, or we're just talking shit?
Unpack one last thing. Let's see if he'll have a coherent conversation with me, or if he's a coward bitch and talks through every word I say. Let's see how big of a coward bitch this little fundy is. Let's see how long before he talks through my questions. Immediately. That's the answer. Let's see how long this fundy bitch can tolerate me questioning him. So you've just... I don't need your permission. I need you to shut up. So you have just stated that everything, including the ball, is in the non-inertial spinning reference frame. So therefore, everything is spinning in the non-inertial reference frame, according to that definition.
You're breaking through, Nathan.
Was that a little obfuscation, pretending that you can't hear me crystal clearly?
No obfuscation. Just definitions in pure sense here.
Sorry, you now seem to be making out like I'm obfuscating when I'm asking, not even asking a question, clarifying precisely, almost verbatim, what you stated. You said everything is in the non-inertial spinning reference frame, and I'm clarifying that everything, the frame of reference for everything, the ball included, that would be a ball that's flying, being thrown, having been released from the non-inertial spinning reference frame. I'm getting clarity.
Yes, everything, the ball, you throwing it, the guys on the park bench, everybody is in your non-inertial reference frame.
No,
Because
you're trying to prove...
What?
Let me know when you're done.
That means that everything is stationary.
Let me know when Do you need 4 more repetitions of that exact same statement to be done?
You don't seem to get it, so I keep on repeating it.
That doesn't answer my question. Do you feel that you need to repeat that statement 4 more times to be done?
If you can tell me you understand it, I won't.
I'm just clarifying what you've said so fucking far. Do we have to say it 16 more times for us to be done and be capable of you shutting up?
I understand. No, I'm done. Go ahead.
Okay.
So,
according to you, everything is stationary. Everything.
Fuck.
According to
No, that's not your Arwin, you bastard. Why did you just do that, Arwin?
Sorry.
That's not funny.
Because he doesn't understand either.
Shut up, Zanuck. Zanuck, we've got clarity on your shitty point. The ball, the man, everything, according to you, you fundy religious zealot, is spinning on a spinning earth. That's your statement so far.
Yes.
Right. So, a Foucault pendulum that's swinging forward and backward and absolutely not deviating, is that also considered the same non-inertial spinning reference frame as you've just declared? Because it's also akin to the ball in the air or anything else that's left the frame. Let me get it clear. I asked if you had needed another 16 repetitions. I'm not finished, Zanuck. Go on, squirm and rumpus, you fundy bitch. You done? I'll clarify again. So, he is going to squirm. Go on, do it for me. I like it. Get off on it, you squirming little fundy bitch. Keep it up, go on. You need to obfuscate this. It's devastating for your globe spinning. Go on, obfuscate some more. I like it. It makes me horny.
Once you get it, the Foucault pendulum, the Earth, everything is in the
So when you're done, I'll ask for clarity. You have claimed that everything is in... Go on, squirm. Go on. This is amusing for my audience, Zanuck. You having to squirm like a little fundy bitch and stop the question being asked concisely. Because you know where this is going, don't you, you lying fundy bastard? Yeah? Your assertion is that it's all... Go on, squirm some more. As soon as I start the question, he can't stop me. Go on, do it. Go on. I'm going to start again. 3, 2, 1, squirm. So, You claim the ball and the pendulum and everything is all part of the spinning frame of reference. So the pendulum's spinning and the ball is spinning, is it, Zanik?
Yes, everything is spinning.
So the pendulum that's swinging back... Go on, Squirm. Go on. Go on. You were about to squirm while I said that the pendulum, which is swinging back and forth and not deviating, moving in a straight line, is now claimed by Zanik to be spinning in a spinning reference frame. That's not what pendulums do, Zanik. Do you not understand what a pendulum does, you fucking retard? I'll repeat my question. Given that you have stated that the pendulum is also swinging and spinning part of a spinning reference frame that we're all on, do you fundamentally not understand what a pendulum does, you complete fucktard?
You're confusing how the pendulum works on a non-inertial frame.
Do you understand what a pendulum does, given that you, the fucktard retard, double-speaking, zealot bastard liar, has asserted that everything is part of the spinning reference frame when the pendulum, by definition, is not spinning and in fact moving in a straight path? So my question to a complete fucking retard, that's you, Zanik, the fucking retard, is do you not understand what pendulums do? They're not spinning as part of a rotational frame. You fucking retard. You fucking retard. That's not what pendulums do, fucktard.
From an inertial frame of reference. If you're
not from a... No. What he needs to do now is talk about what happens from the non-inertial spinning reference frame. I'm talking about what the pendulum does. Not what we observe. Try and listen. I know you're stupid. Try to pay attention, slow-mo. We're not talking about looking at the pendulum. We're talking about the frame of reference the pendulum is in when it moves back and forth and absolutely fucking does not spin. In the non... Go on, do it. I like it, Zanik. This is your globe death. We've all seen how much research you've done. We've all seen where you've gone to try and get the answers and square these circles. But I'm pissing right in your face, Zanik. And you're gonna tolerate it. You're still here. So you're going to accept me pissing in the face of your little spinning ball religion while I point out the doublespeak, my friend. You're saying it's all spinning and it's all the same frame of reference. Wrong. Proving beyond any questionable doubt that at a fundamental level, you don't understand what a pendulum does. And when I point that out, your only next move, which I've already rumbled you on, is to start talking about what we see from the non-inertial reference frame, while I point out that that pendulum isn't part of that now, is it?
Oh, yes, it is. It is actually part of it. That's why you see it take a weird path.
No, you see, back to what we see from the non-inertial reference frame. How predictable. Isn't it funny, Zanik, how I predict... Oh, go on, squirm again. Squirm again how I predicted your every little move. Go on, rumpus it. Go on. Yeah, I already predicted that you'd say that, didn't I? You'd talk about what we see from the non-inertial frame. I'm already well ahead of you, Zanik.
The coordinate system. You're fixed in that coordinate system when you're looking at it.
I'm fixed, but I'm talking about the projectile, aren't I, Zanik? I'm talking about the pendulum, not what we see.
In it. You're fixed to it. You don't leave reference frames. Everything's in that.
I'm not talking about you fucking fundy funtard. I'm talking about the pendulum.
On a racer.
Pendulum. Now, he can't talk about the pendulum because that's defying what he's claimed. He's claimed it's all part of the spinning reference frame. Wrong. The projectile we're observing, in this instance a pendulum, that's not spinning, but what he'll do is tell us about what we see it appear to do from the non-inertial frame. You've already been rumbled, you squirming little fundy bitch.
I think you got it.
Yeah, I've got it. I rumbled you yesterday, fundy.
That was hilarious, by the way.
Yeah, me rumbling you, catching you. You can only tie this to what we observe. George, shout out to you, George Netting, you stupid old bastard, telling us about how it's all about what we observe in capital bold type. You stupid, senile old bastard.
Listen.
I won't listen. I give you no quarters, fundy fucktard. All you can do is tell us all about what we observe. When I point out there's a second reference frame needed, and that second reference frame is described by the motion of squirm for me, squirm as I get to the conclusion. I love it. I love it. Squirm as I point out that the pendulum's motion, not what we observe, which is what bastard old senile git George Netting needs to put in capitalised type. It's about what we observe, says George. Yeah, because that's where you're going to tie it to. Till I fucking rumbled you, you old bastard. And you, Zanuck, you fundy lying fucktard.
What does George have to do with this?
Yeah, because he told us it's all about what we observe. When I'm pointing out that we're not describing the observation when we talk about the separate reference frame of the projectile. I'm not talking about observing that pendulum. I'm talking about that pendulum being in a separate reference frame when you're saying there's only one.
There's only one, that's right.
No, because the pendulum is swinging back and forth and not part of your spinning. It's moving in a straight line through the inertial reference frame. You're wrong, you're a liar, you've already been rumbled and telling me in your next step that no, what we observe, do it.
Yoo-hoo.
Do it.
Yoo-hoo, Nathan.
Yoo-hoo, tell me that it's what we observe.
Nathan, it's in your reference frame.
In your reference frame? What I'm going to observe?
Yes, what you're...
Ah, you're so predictable I could come.
Everything you're looking at is in their reference frame.
Yeah, told you, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to tell us all about what we've got to look at while I'm describing a reference frame of that pendulum swinging. I've said it about 10 times. Not once has the fundy squirming bitch addressed that the pendulum's in a different reference frame. He'll do it again. Let's see how many times I can predict he has to talk about what we see.
Nathan, things do not leave reference frames. Reference frames, inertial or non-inertial, are determined by whether those objects, are in spinning or not spinning. That's the point of reference frames, a coordinate system.
And
so
is the pendulum spinning?
And spinning, you can detect motion.
And is the pendulum spinning? Because it sounds from that definition like you fundamentally don't understand what a pendulum does. Is this going to get a long? Is this going to get a long, drawn-out silence when I get to say it, or is it constant rumpusing as I say it? I think he's gone with constant rumpusing, ladies and gentlemen. Probably best to sound like a baboon rather than let me get this question out. Right, Zanuck? Go on, do your little baboon rumpus impression rather than let the question get out. Go on. We're all getting very amused by you, you little monkey. Time for the obfuscation rather than protracted silences. Yeah, I'm going to ask about that pendulum. I'm going to ask about that pendulum and whether or not it swings. We're going to find it out eventually, you rumpusing little fuck. But in the meantime, we'll see how long you can obfuscate me asking about whether or not that pendulum swings now. Yeah? We'll see if we can get there as he squirms. Let's hear him squirm. Once I stop talking, so will he. So does that pendulum swing because it's in the non-inertial spinning reference frame? Is the pendulum swinging?
This pendulum is spinning in the non-inertial reference frame, yes.
No. Is the pendulum itself...
Everything is spinning.
Everything
is spinning.
Squirm. He won't let me repeat it. Yeah, he's got his fundy obfuscation, and now it's just time for rumpusing to stop the repetition. So, the pendulum itself, is the pendulum taking a curved trajectory or not?
Yes, in the non-inertial reference frame it is.
No, not from your point of view in the non-inertial reference frame. The pendulum itself, is that taking a curved trajectory?
Yes, it is.
From whose point of view?
Confusing non-inertial and inertial. You're confusing the two.
From
You're
whose
going
point
back
of
and
view?
forth Between
Oh, it's rumpusing. He won't let another question, a follow-up demolition come. Just permanent rumpusing.
And you're observing, not...
When you're observing. So I got it right. That's 3 for 3. You predictable little son of a bitch, you. So it is from the observation. No, that you've misunderstood. You seem to be projecting your misunderstanding here. It's time for beautiful, soothing rumpusing. Oh yeah, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Flat Earth Debate, where the fundy glotards have to obfuscate and rumpus, because that's all they've got.
Let's call an inertial reference frame, and that's outside.
Yeah, you talking through me isn't you giving a concise rebuttal.
Inertial reference frame. Very simple. Looking down at the Earth is an inertial and reference frame. That's what you're looking at it from now. When it doesn't seem to move, different reference frame. You're now in a different reference frame.
Sorry, different reference frame is what you claimed we don't have. You said it's all one.
The merry-go-round, whatever, you are in a non-inertial reference frame. Everything in it is rotating. The pendulum, the ball you throw, everything.
From your observation.
Wherever that's what it's all about, Nathan. It's about.
You see? It's all about only making it about what we see. And heaven forbid he ever describes the path of the pendulum. I want to know, if everything's spinning, is the path of the pendulum straight?
In what reference frame?
You lost.
Wherever the hell it is.
Let me ask him again.
Let
me ask him again. It's a yes or no question. Yes or no.
You can be in
Go on, do it. Squirm, bitch, squirm. Don't let me ask the question again. That would be terrible. Oh, it would be another demonstration of your globe dying. Go on, rumpus for me, bitch. Go on, keep going. Oh, don't stop. Don't stop. Oh, keep it up. Oh, it's great. Oh, yeah. The globe dying, and all they can do is pretend to rebut me while I talk. Tell me when you're ready. Tell me when you're ready for the pummeling.
Spinning. The inertial reference frame would be you above the Earth, looking down on it. From that perspective, the inertial reference frame, the pendulum is not moving. Not moving.
Didn't you say everything is in the same reference frame, though?
No. From the inertial reference frame, everything you're looking at.
Haven't you said that numerous times, though?
Right. And then I interrupted in the wrong time saying that.
If your reference frame is rotating or accelerating, then you're in the non-inertial reference frame. But everything in the non-inertial reference frame is everything you see. Everything.
Double speaking.
So everything is stationary in relation to
other reference frames.
If everything I see is in the same reference frame, how do I see a Coriolis effect?
Very easily. That's why you see a Coriolis effect.
That's why you see.
You asked me a question, Nathan. Let me answer it. You see a Coriolis effect because you are on a rotating body or an accelerating body, and it looks like it's a.
And is the object that's supposed to be moving in the inertial reference frame, is that in the non-inertial reference frame?
You just said it, Chocolate. You're in a rotating reference frame. Everything you see is what is in that reference frame. Everything. The ball, anything moving away from you. It appears to curve. That's how you see it curve because you're in the non-inertial reference frame. That's the ball, and everything is in
but that object itself. Is it in the non-inertial, the same reference frame that I am in?
Everything. The only time it looks like it's going straight is from a different reference frame. You can actually jump off and sit on a park bench and watch a merry-go-round, and now suddenly you are now. Okay. You have now created a new reference frame called
Sanic. I've got one last question. Let's see if you can do it without fundamentally rumpusing the shit out of me. So you said you'd have to be in a different reference frame to observe something going in a straight line. So now I'm going to ask. I don't need you to interrupt me. I just need to be able to ask my question unimpeded by a fundamentalist religious zealot who's having his religion destroyed. So, if you sit on,
you keep on outdoing
you
yourself.
can't do it. You can't do it.
Go ahead. I'm waiting. This is funny.
Yeah, it's pretty funny, all right.
So, my own side can just contain themselves because you've set him off. Thank you, my own side. So, Zanik, if I sit on the pendulum, now we've established that you don't really understand what pendulums do in actuality. That would be they move in straight lines now, don't they? So if I'm sat on the pendulum, does that mean that I'm on that second reference frame then?
No, you're the non-inertial frame of reference? What reference frame are you talking about? The one that's rotating or not?
I'm asking. If I
Which
sit...
One you want to talk, which one
do you want clarity or do you want to rumpus the living shit out of me? Do you want clarity or do you want to rumpus me indefinitely? I think it's time to rumpus because I think it's time to obfuscate this point. I think it's much better that you rumpus me rather than listen to the clarity of the question. I'll ask it again if you shut up, but I would say it's much better than you rumpus me, because it doesn't look terrible, Zanik. It doesn't look like you're obfuscating every one of these demolishments of your religion. It looks like you need to obfuscate this, because it's your religion going down the toilet. As I ask the question again, let's see if he can tolerate the question even being asked. Let's see how much zealotry he spews through me asking this question. If I'm sat on a pendulum that we all on this side of the argument, at least, maybe not you, we'll find out in the answer, but we all understand that that pendulum is moving in a straight line. My question is that the non-inertial spinning reference frame that I'm sat on?
If it's spinning and you're sitting on it, yes, you are in the non-inertial reference frame.
Oh, so it seems you don't understand what a pendulum is. If it's spinning... Oh, no, Zanik.
Everything...
Zanik, I need to educate a fundy fucktard while my own side rumpuses me as well. Zanik, pendulums don't...
You look at,
Zanik, it's okay.
Whether
It'll be over soon. It'll be over soon, Zanik. It'll be over soon, you fundamentalist religious zealot. Zanik.
You're not gonna let me say a word,
Zanik, it'll be over soon.
Okay.
Just bite the pillow. Bite it.
Let's finish this
up.
up.
Pillow.
I got.
I mean, shut your mouth. Zanik, pendulums, they don't swing round in a circle. That's not what pendulums do. Zanik, it's going to be over soon. Try and listen.
Interesting. So you put
I know
you put
it's
a phone call
painful.
pendulum at a museum near you.
Squirm for me. Oh, it must be so painful. Oh, Zanik. Oh, is me pointing out that you don't understand what a pendulum does? This embarrassing. So I'm sat on a pendulum and you're saying if it's spinning. No, by definition it isn't spinning.
The pendulum is not going straight. It's moving. Why? Because it's in the non-inertial reference frame. That's why the pendulum moves.
Does it
That's
move?
That's why it rotates.
Sorry, it doesn't rotate. Sorry, Zanik, you don't want to be told that you're wrong. Now, I understand this is what we call zealotry.
This is like first semester physics.
Sorry, you don't understand what a pendulum does.
No, I do. I'm telling you, the pendulum, if you're in the museum while looking at a pendulum...
You didn't listen. That's not where I'm sat now, is it?
You see it not go...
I'm not sat in the museum looking at it, you dumb fuck zealot!
The dominoes moving? Are the dominoes moving?
Do
No,
it
the
for me.
pendulum
Squirm as you try and put us back on the non-inertial spinning reference frame. That's not what I'm sat now, is it, Fundy? I'm sat on the pendulum. I'm Miley fucking Cyrus.
Yep, there you go. Knock yourself out.
Stop rumpusing me, please. My own panel. Listen, fundamentalist religious zealot. I haven't asked you what's happening sat from the museum watching the fucking pendulum. I've asked you for the third time, but you can't answer me.
Here's to rotate on the non-inertial
there he
reference
goes again. There he goes.
Around the world.
There he goes.
Unless you're on the equator, of course.
Can't do it. Can't do it. Yeah? Your religion's dying right here.
See that pendulum rotate once every 35 hours.
You see that pendulum rotate. I'm sat on the pendulum, my friend. But there is absolutely no way in unholy fuck you will ever address this. What reference frame am I, Miley fucking Cyrus, sat on a pendulum, what reference frame am I in? Swinging back and
The
forth.
non-inertial reference frame.
You think I'm on a non-inertial spinning reference frame going back and forth in a straight line? No, Zanik, it seems at a fundamental level you don't understand what a pendulum is. If I'm sat on a pendulum, I'm swinging forward and I'm swinging backwards. I am absolutely definitely not swinging round and around and around. I'm just moving on my pendulum back and forth. See, the problem here is, ladies and gentlemen, the Zanik is basically stupid. He's thick. He doesn't understand what a pendulum does. I'm sat on a pendulum and he's telling me that I'm whirling and twirling. Now, if you've got a clock that's old with a pendulum, you tell me how many rotations that fucking pendulum makes, and I'll tell you how many it makes. 0. That's not what pendulums do. But at base level, Zanik's just stupid. Like all globe heads who think they live on a rotating sphere, at a base level they're thick. Zanik's an example of this. He thinks pendulums rotate. No, they don't. He's just fucking stupid.
You can go to any museum and watch it. Have you never been to a museum before?
I'm not watching it for the third time, you fundamentalist religious zealot dumbfuck. You're also brain dead because you can't pay attention and listen. I'll say it one final time. A Miley fucking Cyrus sat on the pendulum. I'm not looking at it. I'm on it. Now, is that...
Yeah, fine.
Yeah, fine. So I'd try and answer me, Fundy. Is that, as you've asserted, because everything is on the non-inertial spinning reference frame, am I sat, swinging back and forth and not rotating, on the non-inertial reference frame?
Yes, you're in the non-inertial reference frame. You, Miley Cyrus, if you're on top of her and she's hung it on the pendulum and you're going back and forth, you're all in the non-inertial...
Going back and forth?
Oh my God, you don't know what a pendulum is.
Owen! Going back and forth? What do you mean going back and forth with Miley Cyrus? I'm supposed to be spinning around.
You're not talking? Go look it up. Go
look it up. He's just rumpusing the shit out of me. No, you thick bastard. When you say going back and forth with Miley Cyrus on a pendulum, yeah, back and forth. Not round and round. Back and forth. Yeah? Because that would be the inertial frame of reference. Something that pisses in the face of you asserting that everything is on the non-inertial spinning reference frame. Because me and Miley, we're in the inertial frame now, aren't we?
Slightly curved.
Just not listening to a word I say. About maybe 5 minutes ago when it got really devastating, his only defence from this point now is to talk non-stop. Now, obviously I can't have a conversation with anymore because he won't shut up to listen to any points that are being made. He's shut down completely, gone into fundamentalist religious zealot mode, and will just continually interrupt me when I point out that me and Miley Cyrus swinging back and forth, as he puts it, isn't swinging round and round. As he puts it, it's back and forth and back and forth, not on the spinning frame. But that point, that's the inertial frame that the pendulum swings back and forth through, must be obfuscated by this Fundy, because it demolishes this assertion that we're all in one frame. The ball, the pendulum, it's all the spinning frame, except when me and Miley swing back and forth, as he puts it.
Can I speak now? You understand how pendulums work.
Yeah, they swing back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, as you put it. They do not swing around. They're useful for fundies like you to claim they're proving Earth spin, because apparently the thing that spins around is the ground beneath the pendulum. Now the pendulum's giving you an inertial reference frame. So it's not, as you, who are wrong and stupid, and a religious zealot who believes he's on a ball flying through a vacuum, because he's a religious zealot, seems to think that that inertial frame that me and Miley are swinging through back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, is actually the spinning frame. Yes. You're wrong. You're stupid. And I'm taking
that's what
that
it is. That's what it is. That's it.
What an excellent rebuttal.
You've just described reality. You are now in a non-inertial frame of reference because the Earth is spinning, the pendulum is spinning, Miley Cyrus and you hanging on that pendulum are also spinning too. Everybody's spinning.
No, pendulums don't spin. Pendulums swing back and forth. I've said it about 4 times. At base level, you don't understand what pendulums do. Okay, I'm done with the fundy. Anybody else want anything to add before I round out this extended live show?
Yeah, he went full retard.
Zanuck, poor guy.
Yeah, totally lost it.
Where's Miley?
On the pendulum.
Swinging back and forth in the inertial second separate reference frame that we are not part of if we are swinging back and forth and not rotating underneath.
I keep hearing Zanuck say everything is in the same reference frame. Nothing leaves reference frames. So then
Correct.
why are we talking about Coriolis at all?
Yeah.
Because you don't understand what Coriolis is, obviously, Chocolate.
Coriolis is the...
You don't understand. You don't understand.
Let's just summarise.
Is that all you got, Zanuck? I don't understand. Is that it? Can you
it for him?
Can you demonstrate it?
Standard fare, so you don't understand. Coriolis effect is a not actual deviation produced by observing a projectile travelling in a straight line through an inertial reference frame as you rotate underneath on a non-inertial spinning reference frame. The apparent deviation is observed not because the projectile actually deviates, the projectile in the example used today being the pendulum with me and Miley swinging back and forth, not actually deviating, but if there was a roundabout beneath that pendulum and you were sat on that roundabout, you would observe the pendulum appearing to deviate even though it's not. Well, it's not deviating in the non-inertial spinning reference frame because it's not part of the non-inertial spinning reference frame. It's the inertial reference frame that you are referencing in regards to its swinging back and forth. The point of all this being that a pendulum, which swings back and forth in an inertial reference frame, is claimed to prove Earth spins underneath it. Useful, according to the fundies, because it's moving in a straight line, and the deviation we must only talk about because it's only ever going to be about what we observe from the non-inertial claim to be spinning ball Earth, because that's their ploy. That not actual deviation is claimed to be Earth rotating underneath. A ball, a pendulum, a helicopter, a drone. The only problem being that we don't see any bloody deviation ever. Nothing's drifting, nothing's deviating. And when they claim they've got a deviation, they've got to start a pendulum in such a fashion that it does bloody deviate on its cockamamie contraption it's attached to the ceiling with. Or a bullet that's in the air for a fraction of a moment that they claim has drifted, not because of wind, but because Earth rotated underneath it. And when you point out that planes don't have Earth rotating underneath it, you end in an endless, never-ending argument about the retention of the angular velocity when something leaves the ground, defying the first law of thermodynamics and increasing its energy as it increases in altitude. That's the kind of bullshit arguments you end up with these fundies. Never-ending obfuscation and rumpusing as you try and put a question to them about which frame of reference you're in. If you're sat on a pendulum, absolutely in the inertial frame, and all you'll get is discord rumpusing. As they tell you that, no, if I'm watching you and Miley, because that's all they're going to do from now on, talk about observing it. And with that, I'll say if you want to continue to watch the demolition of Zanuck on the after show, then stay tuned on the Nathan Oakley 1980 premiering stream. As I say, there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, if you are watching this extended live show on Nathan Oakley, then unfortunately this is where we bid you farewell. A huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, and all that good stuff. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. As I say, stay tuned if you're watching on Nathan Oakley 1980. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Anik.
Okay, go ahead.
What do you feel that you were not able to explain during the show? What do you feel you were being
I'm not able to explain that a non-inertial reference frame actually shows these forces. Shows the
Zanik, let me just change topics momentarily. Straight yes, no answer, or yes, no question. Is gravity a force?
He didn't hear you because he was in the middle of a move. Repeat your answer or question.
So I'm not able to, first of all, explain the difference between an inertial and a non-inertial reference frame. That's the main thing. Because they keep on confusing things that they see with motion with the reference frame. That's not how it works. Reference frame is just the perspective or the viewpoint, the point in a coordinate system, and where in the things you're looking at in that coordinate system. Nothing leaves that coordinate system. It can't.
If you're looking at something in that coordinate system, shouldn't it have to move or something for you to notice something?
I'm so glad you're on. So now we're going to go after this real quick. And don't leave for like at least a minute or two, and let's really get this nailed out here. The reason you know how you know you're in a non-inertial frame of reference is when the laws of motion don't seem to apply correctly. Things are curving and accelerating where they shouldn't be.
That's wrong. That's wrong.
Hold on, that's right, actually. So that's how you know. If you see
that's wrong, actually. You're a clown.
That's how it works. You are in a non-inertial frame of reference.
If
they do follow
it's
Newtonian
been
mechanics,
illustrated, it's been demonstrated to you, but you just keep on saying it because you're a retard.
When you're looking at things, the reason the pendulum is still in the non-inertial frame of reference because you do see it rotate. It not.
All he's ever going to do. All he's ever going to do is constantly refer to how we observe the pendulum. Now, he's never ever going to address the fact that all he's describing is from the non-inertial reference frame. And when you're sat on the pendulum, you're effectively part of the inertial reference frame.
No.
Yes. It's not spinning. Pendulums don't spin. By saying no, you admit that you don't understand what a pendulum is.
You don't understand reference. You do not leave.
Not talking about reference frames,
you just
pendulums.
went out of your way to go against what you said before, which is everything is in the same reference frame. What the hell are you talking about, Zanik?
Retard.
Do you know where you are?
Chocolate, can I answer you? Chocolate, can I answer you? And can no one interrupt me for a moment? Once?
Go ahead.
I'll do whatever the fuck I like. You're a lying bastard. All you've come here to do is constantly equivocate, constantly describe what is observed from the non-inertial frame that you claim is an Earth that spins. Now, when we detail the fact that Earth that spins with a pendulum swinging over the top of it is claimed to deviate because the pendulum swings in a straight line, and I ask if I'm sat on the pendulum, am I part of the spinning reference frame, and you say yes, that makes you a fucktard.
It doesn't go in a straight line.
Yes, it does. That's fundamentally what pendulums do. Now, if you're about to say, nah, not if I'm observing it from the non-inertial frame, I'm already 3 steps ahead of you.
Really? So why does the pendulum knock over the dominoes in 24 or 36 hours?
It does, according to you. It does because Earth spins underneath the inertial frame of the pendulum.
It doesn't.
Yeah! That's what the claim is.
Go ahead and define the so-called pendulum right now. I want a citation right now. I want a citation right now. Define the so-called pendulum right now.
It's quite simple. I'm pretty amazed actually. This is the most simple thing we talk about. We talk about entropy, but you don't understand reference frame. Correct?
No, he's asked you to define what the pendulum is.
Because that's all you got.
Oh, you won't shut up.
A bunch of citations from Google.
We're asking you.
But listen, I'm telling you, I'm the guy here telling you the way it is, Quantum.
Oh, fuck you. You're not telling me, Jack. I understand the way it is. We're not spinning. Nothing's deviating. Planes don't take 1.5 hours from Charlotte, North Carolina to get to LA. Helicopters can hover. They don't increase their velocity as they raise in altitude. You're just rumpusing the shit out of everybody. You're not telling us what's what. We're telling you. We are the flat earthers, and we're telling you we don't spin.
We spin.
No, we do not. If we spin, as is claimed to happen under the pendulum, then we'd notice it in an aeroplane, a drone, and even a ball that we threw. In fact, I could jump up and down and notice Earth rotating underneath me, but I don't.
So lost.
Huge straw man.
No, not straw man. If you let me get a sentence out, I explain to you how that works.
No, Nathan is straw manning the globe.
Straw man in the globe.
With his pressure.
What? Not. Do you want to hear this chocolate or not?
Go ahead, spew your nonsense, bro. Honestly, you have no idea what the hell you're saying. I just want it demonstrated. Where do we see Coriolis effect demonstrated on Earth?
Let's talk about the merry-go-round. You throw the ball. The ball does not leave the reference frame. It is in that coordinate system. It leaves your hand. It's still in that coordinate system. It does not leave, and it deviates to the right.
Yeah, if you're referencing
How is it doing that?
If you're referencing it, it doesn't leave the coordinate system that you are referencing. The ball itself travels through a different reference frame. Now, you're only ever going to refer to the vision you get from the non-inertial frame. I've already caught you. You just think you're going to try it with chocolate now.
What, chocolate? You want to understand?
You see, don't appeal to chocolate when I've already raped you.
Understand it. Why don't you let me speak for more than a sentence?
Because I've already fucking raped you. You've already died a death here, and I've already killed you 4 times, right? You keep referring to how we will observe this shit from a claim to be spinning reference frame. You're saying that's the only coordinate system because you're going to describe how it deviates from that coordinate system. In other words, what you see. Now, talking about it like it's only now the coordinate system, like I'm going to have that slip by, like I don't appreciate that you're still only referring to what is observed from the person on the claim to be spinning reference frame, then you're taking me for a fool. I have already rumbled you.
You're being foolish.
No, you're taking me for a fool. Just saying that the coordinate system is the one you will now refer to basically means you're only talking about what you observe from the non-inertial spinning reference frame.
Understand. Reference frames are perspective. Like what?
Perspective, what we see. There is nothing you will say here to get this past me, you fundy dick.
I'm just trying, you know.
Yeah, you're trying. You will never ever get this past me. Trying to appeal to another panel member like you can slip it past him is just going to piss me off royally. You have been rumbled. You're not going to continually tie the single reference frame to there only being one position to observe this happening from. If I'm sat on a pendulum...
I didn't say there's only one position to look at this from. I said you are looking at it from that position.
Yeah, you're telling me I am looking from it there, though, aren't you? I am looking from it there, right?
If you are...
Yeah, yes, I am, because you insist. Nah, I'm sat with Miley Cyrus.
From the if you're looking at it from the rotating reference frame.
I'm sat with Miley Cyrus.
Not for half an hour. I haven't able.
I'm sat with Miley Cyrus, but he cannot address that shit because that's not part of the non-inertial reference frame. The pendulum swinging back and forth, Earth's claim to rotate underneath. It's definitely not the spinning reference frame. But I say I'm sat with Miley. And he has to say, I'm watching you. Yeah, well, you watch me sat with Miley smiling, mate. No.
There's as many reference frames as you want there to be. They can be.
Which one's the one with me and Miley on it swinging back and forth?
Yes, you're in the non-inertial reference frame.
No, that's the inertial reference frame that we're swinging back and forth through. The non-inertial reference frame is spinning, something that pendulums fundamentally do not do.
If I'm looking at you, then...
No, we're not talking about what we're looking at, you little voyeur. I know you want to watch me and Cyrus. Yeah? But we're sat on an inertial frame, swinging back and forth, you fundy dick.
You can't friggin' stop to even let me explain one...
Oh no, he's rumpusing me! No, me and Miley are just sat here happily swinging on the inertial reference frame. What's your problem?
You're shaking in your boots because I might rock you.
No, I'm quite happily sat here with Miley. Just hoping my wife isn't listening to you intently.
Because if I say something and I prove wrong, you're going to look like an idiot.
Yeah, what is the pendulum? Is that swinging back and forth because it's spinning on an inertial reference frame? No, it's not spinning. It's moving in a straight line. Fundamentally not anything to do with the spinning reference frame.
Danik,
Go on.
You want cowbell? Here's cowbell. The non-inertial reference frame is the frame...
Not an explanation, please. Cowbell, can you please have a citation or a reference
I'm giving you,
referencing what you're claiming, please, because the claim is that there's two reference frames.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have a inertial reference frame and a non-inertial reference frame, right?
That's in defiance of what you've said. You've said it's all one reference frame. It's all the non-inertial reference frame. The ball, the pendulum, it's all one frame. So you are now fucked. Double speaking fundy.
Everything in your inertial reference frame is not...
No, I'm not. No. You are wrong. You don't know how pendulums work. I'm not on a non-inertial spinning reference frame. I'm on a pendulum with Miley Cyrus.
Constant velocity or a constant velocity. That's why things appear to follow all Newtonian mechanics correctly.
No. Laws of Newton were not right. Richard Feynman.
Frame is one that is rotating or accelerating. Do you know that? Can you not see the difference between the two? It's very...
You're not really addressing anything that I'm saying. So you need two reference frames. You're saying it's all one reference frame because you constantly take us into the eye of the observer on the non-inertial claim to be spinning reference frame of a ball Earth. When I point out that I'm sat on a pendulum, you won't say, yeah, that's the inertial reference frame, the separate frame, the frame that the ball would be in when describing Coriolis on a roundabout. Yeah, that pendulum's the same exact thing. That's the inertial frame that you're swinging there on. Yeah. You say it's the non-inertial frame. You think pendulums spin.
You're knocking over the dominoes.
Yeah, because it's swinging in a back and forth motion as it's claimed the Earth rotates underneath. The Earth being the non-inertial spinning reference frame and the pendulum not being. Because it's an apparent deflection, an apparent deviation, i.e. it's not actually deviating. It seems to be, if you're looking at it from the perspective that you claim is a spinning ball Earth. Now, if Earth's rotating underneath that pendulum, the pendulum that's swinging in an inertial frame, a second frame, the frame that Zanuck denies, yeah? Well, if it's swinging back and forth and the Earth's rotating underneath, then Earth rotates underneath helicopters, drones, and balls that you throw. So a ball, which you threw in a straight line, would seem to deviate because Earth rotated underneath. A helicopter that launched from the ground and you only pushed your up stick, but it would seem to drift away from you because Earth rotated underneath. The second claimed to be spinning non-inertial reference frame. Not one, not only a spinning frame, two are needed to prove it spins. Not one, Zanuck.
No, one.
No, two. Again, you are retarded. Non-inertial and inertial. The pendulum is claimed to swing back and forth in a straight line, and it's claimed that Earth rotates underneath. That's not one reference frame, you fuckwit fundy. You're just stupid. You just don't understand the Coriolis effect. You need a non-inertial reference frame spinning underneath an inertial reference frame to have a Coriolis effect. You're just stupid. You just don't understand Coriolis.
All you need to do is be accelerating. It's all you need. And that
Zanuck,
reference
can
frame
I
that is
ask you
accelerating
one
is
question?
all you need.
So
you don't need to know about any other reference frame at all.
If you're sitting in the room if you're sitting in the room where Nathan is swinging around with Miley, not being a perv, you're just watching, right? And you're sitting in that room, across the room, and you're watching them swing on this pendulum. Now, you're saying that him and Miley on this pendulum are in the non-inertial reference frame, right?
Correct.
That's what you're saying? Right.
Yes,
so you across the room, what reference frame are you
He won't
in?
let you ask a second question, Chocolate. That's the end of your questioning. Now, he said that they're in the non-inertial reference frame, and I want to ask, is that from your vantage point watching us, Zanuck?
Yes.
Oh, right. Even though he's made it quite explicit that he's talking about me and Miley swinging back and forth. But you, again, what a prediction. Go back to you watching us, you pervy little bastard.
And you know what?
Let's remove you, the pervert. If you include you in this example again, I'm going to deem you a pervert who can't help watching me and Miley. Because I want this example to not include a pervert called Zanuck. So there's no other pervert in the room. It's only me and Miley in this example. And we're swinging back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Are we spinning as part of a non-inertial spinning reference frame?
Yes.
From whose vantage point?
From my vantage point.
So you are a pervert who absolutely must come in and watch. I'll try and say it again, but it seems Zanic's so big a pervert, he has to include himself in this example. We're removing all perverts who watch from the example. First and foremost, I want you to concede and understand and say, yes, I understand. No perverts will watch in this example. This tender moment with me and Miley won't be watched by perverts. Is that clear?
Crystal.
So, given that nobody is watching me and Miley swinging back and forth, are we, moving in a straight line back and forth, part of a spinning reference frame, as we move back and forth in a straight line, not spinning? Are we part of a non-inertial spinning reference frame with no perverts in the room, only me and Miley swinging back and forth? Are we, as declared by you, absolutely, as is always the case, part of a spinning reference frame when we, me and Miley, look out upon the world moving back and forth only?
Oh, so you already said you're looking at the world around you. So is that your reference frame? You're looking at the world around you? Is the world around you the reference frame?
I'm asking, is the pendulum...
Well, rotating. If that reference frame is rotating and you're on it, yes, you are in that non-inertial reference frame.
No, the pendulum is not rotating. That is not what pendulums do. Now, I'm speaking very slowly because at this stage, I can only assert that because there's nobody watching us that can say, well, from my point of view, it's spinning. There's no perverts in this example. Therefore, Zanic's retarded and thinks that pendulums actually spin.
It is spinning relative to the room that you're in.
Sorry, not relative to the room. So what, relative to you standing watching in the room, you mean, you pervert? So we're back to Zanik being in the room, bloody pervert, watching us swinging back and forth in a straight line. There will be no point in this conversation where Zanik concedes that by definition, on a pendulum, we're not on a rotating reference frame. That would be me and not Zanik, certainly not Zanik, me and Miley. We're not spinning, Zanik. We're moving in a straight line.
From a spot in space in a coordinate system.
He's got to be watching. I love it. Even though I've qualified it by saying this makes him a pervert who must be watching us, he's still going to do it. He doesn't even care that this example makes him a pervert. Watching this tender moment between a man and a fantasy woman.
Oh my God.
Not God.
Yeah.
You are not watching. You are not God watching from space. I've already got it clear. You said crystal. It wasn't crystal. You're a spastic. You didn't understand. You couldn't comprehend. When you said it was crystal clear, it wasn't. Because now you're talking about being God watching this from space. Even though your perverted mind must watch this, I've made it clear we will not be being watched. This moment doesn't involve you. It's just me and Miley swinging in the inertial frame of reference back and forth, not part of the spinning reference frame, not on the non-inertial reference frame as stated by Zanik, who doesn't understand how pendulums work and constantly thinks that all pendulums spin because he's God and he's always watching pendulums, and the Earth is obviously spinning according to his fundy religion. Therefore, he's always there, he's always watching, and it's always spinning, because the point of view is only ever going to be him watching. I love these uncomfortable silences.
Taking a breath to see if I get a moment in, if I get a moment to talk to you about this,
He's
you got a reference frame,
Miley Cyrus's
reference frame. That means everything is rotating in that frame. Everything, even the things that are outside that are not rotating, are still in your non-inertial reference frame.
I'm not rotating. I'm sat on a pendulum. It's not rotating. That's not what pendulums do. You are stupid.
Yeah, you can't do it.
Pendulums don't rotate.
What?
Pendulums do not rotate. They swing back and forth. Not a rotating frame of reference, but a straight motion.
In a non-inertial reference frame.
Oh, you're saying it's now in a non-inertial reference frame. In other words, no matter what example I give, you're going to demand that pendulum is actually attached to a spinning ball Earth.
Nathan, why don't you tell me what an inertial reference frame is? Why don't you tell me what a reference frame is?
An inertial reference frame? Why? According to you, everything is always in a non-inertial spinning reference frame. So what is an inertial reference frame, you say? Sorry, did you just ask me to define the inertial reference frame?
Yes. What's the definition of an inertial reference frame?
Something that you claim we don't have.
Not when you're in a non-inertial reference frame, there's no inertial reference frame.
And am I in a non-inertial reference frame? Of course, this can't be a dialogue. It must be a monologue. It must be Xanic only. So we're gonna have a dialogue, Fundy, or is this too painful?
Yes.
So you say if I'm in a non-inertial spinning reference frame. What about if I'm on a pendulum?
How are you in a non-inertial spinning reference frame?
No, I asked about an inertial reference frame, and then you asked me, and I asked if you were asking me. I got clarity, and it was definitely an inertial frame. Something I said you said we don't have. Now I'm detailing it with a pendulum.
So you're in your non-inertial spinning reference, or your inertial spinning reference frame. Go ahead.
No, I'm not in an inertial spinning reference frame. It seems you don't understand what reference frames are. It's not an inertial spinning frame. Xanic doesn't understand what a reference frame is.
Yeah, you just
contradicted himself so many times. Are you on drugs?
John, do you not understand what a reference frame is?
No, you don't understand.
You freaking contradicted yourself. That inertial frame's not spinning, you dumbass.
Yeah, as I just pointed out to you,
I'd
Xanic.
like to know what he thinks the inertial reference frame is, since he thinks everything is in a non-inertial reference frame.
He just said,
what is it? And what's in an inertial reference frame, Xanic?
He just said an inertial spinning reference frame. So again, at a base level, we're dealing with a complete clown. I don't know why I'm getting so frustrated. That's actually calmed me down quite a lot, Quantum Eraser, because now I understand why we're having this conversation at such great length. He's stupid. He doesn't understand what he's talking about. He doesn't understand what Coriolis effect is, and he doesn't understand what reference frames are. Otherwise, he wouldn't have said a spinning inertial reference frame.
Inertial reference frame.
Exactly. And I'll tell you what's going to happen. Tomorrow on Fight Nights on 24/7 2.0, you're going to hear Xanic with the same exact argument. I'll guarantee.
Can you explain to me what a non-inertial or inertial reference frame
with
is?
the same exact
John, why don't you give it a shot? Why don't you give it a shot, John?
Yeah, sure. So an inertial reference frame would be the frame of reference that, say, a ball travelled through. So it's travelling through a frame that gives it a straight line path for this example of Coriolis deviation. So that particular separate reference frame for a pendulum or a ball would be a straight line. The pendulum moving straight back and forth. That's its reference frame. The straight line. That's the inertial reference frame. The reference frame I continually asked you about, me being on with Miley Cyrus, that would be the inertial frame of reference. The reference that the pendulum or the ball moves through in a straight line. So we're going to have a frame, a little frame around where the ball moves, yeah? And it's going to be a straight line. The coordinate system's going to give you a straight fucking path for the inertial frame of reference. Then we've got a different, separate frame, yeah? Another frame, a little box that we're going to draw around something that's fucking spinning, yeah? That's going to be called the non-inertial spinning reference frame, yeah? That's what reference frames in regards to Coriolis effect are. I do understand Coriolis effect. I definitely understand what a reference frame is, and I definitely understand that the globe Earth claims that proof can be had of Earth turn. And that proof comes in the form of Coriolis deviation. The claim from the fundy rhetoric of the globe Earth that if I push the up stick on my drone, it will drift away from me. Not because it's actually moving right, not because I've pushed the right stick on the remote control, but because the Earth spins underneath. Now, the Earth in this example, the bullshit that doesn't happen where drones drift away from you, yeah, that's the non-inertial spinning reference frame that Zanuck in his shitty little argument claims everything happens in, because he's using his reification, begging the question fallacy, and asserting that Earth is always spinning. So everything's happening in the non-inertial reference frame, according to Zanuck, because he thinks the Earth spins. So of course it's all one reference frame always, except when you've got a pendulum. And that pendulum's supposed to be swinging back and forth in a straight line in a different reference. A reference that's not spinning. A reference that's inertial. A reference that's straight in its coordinate layout. So, that's what reference frames are. And Earth's claimed to have two. And when you leave the spinning frame of reference that's claimed to be a ball that spins in a vacuum of space, when you leave it, you're supposed to see it rotate underneath. You, if you jump. A ball, if it's kicked into a field goal, as asserted by Neil deGrasse Tyson. A bullet, as it leaves the chamber and the rotating frame because it's left the gun and travelling through the air. And a helicopter that takes off, leaving the rotating frame of reference, giving rise to an apparent deviation because apparently we're going to see it drift away from us as we rotate underneath. A hovering fucking helicopter. No! By definition, it's hovering. It ain't drifting away from us. And no, when you push up on your drone, it just goes up. It doesn't drift away from you, proving Earth spins. Yeah? But you'll babble on incessantly that we're all in one reference frame and not answer my question about the frame of reference that's moving in a straight line, that is not the rotating frame. The frame around the pendulum that's swinging in a straight line. Well, that's not rotating, but every time I point that out, Zanuck the Fundy will talk about how he observes us like a pervert, because that's how they've decided to get around this little problem that we've smashed. This little problem of them not having any deviation. That's going to be addressed by always having this argument, by talking about what we observe when we are standing on a rotating platform. Because that way, we're always talking about rotating now, aren't we? We're always arguing from a standpoint that Earth's rotating if we always put the person in the argument on the non-inertial spinning frame of the ball Earth. Yeah, let's do that. That'll be a good way. Until Nathan pulls down his pants and shits all over it. Then it won't be a good argument anymore, because I'll point out that me and Miley, yeah, we're not on that spinning frame of reference, are we? Yeah, we're swinging back and forth in a straight line, and Earth's claimed to be rotating underneath that separate reference frame, so why the fuck doesn't it rotate under my drone? Why isn't it rotating under a ball like it would under a roundabout? Why isn't a plane taking a shorter duration when flying west? Why isn't the continent coming towards you? Because if me and Miley are spinning because Earth's rotating underneath when you, the pervert, watch us, then it's also spinning underneath a plane and a drone and a ball and anything else that leaves the claim to be spinning ball Earth. The only problem is when anything leaves, nothing happens. There's no smegging deviation. There's no proof Earth spins. So obfuscation and a claim that constantly comes from a reference that is a spinning ball Earth is the order of the day for George and Kosho and all the other fundy fuckwits. Just argue non-stop from the frame of reference that we claim spinning. Then all arguments start with Earth spinning. It's the best begging the question fallacy ever. Just assert there's only one spinning ball Earth. It's all we know. It's definitely spinning because it's all we know. Definitely only one frame of reference. Everything's spinning because I'm only ever going to talk about what I see. Aren't you, Zanuck?
That's how reference frames work.
Yep. Only ever work from you looking at a spinning ball Earth that's presupposed to be spinning. So that's the way they work from now on. Yeah, I know.
You don't jump in and out of reference frames.
Yeah, I do. I can jump on a pendulum with Miley. So if I'm on a spinning reference frame, You're saying I can't jump on a pendulum that swings back and forth and be in a different reference frame. Because according to the fundies that use for cult as a proof of Earth spinning, that pendulum having a different reference frame that I can literally jump onto is the claim that Earth spins. So are you saying that I can't jump onto the pendulum which is a different reference frame? Because if you're saying that, you're pissing in the face of every single person that uses for cult and the pendulum as its separate reference frame as a proof that Earth spins. So you're saying I can't jump on a pendulum that is a second reference frame.
And thrown by jumping on a pendulum. You don't change reference frames. That's not how it works.
So if I jump from a claim to be spinning reference frame of a spinning Earth onto an inertial reference frame of a pendulum, you're telling me that I'm not changing reference frames.
Correct. Finally, you get it. Thank you. Yes.
So the reference frame of the pendulum is a spinning reference frame. The pendulum, which has a frame around it and moves in a straight line, that's a spinning reference frame, is it?
Wait, now you're talking all over.
Yeah, laugh it up. Yeah, I've caught the double speak really quick. It's going down quicker and quicker. The only reason I'm keeping the show going so long is because it's training me and the audience on how to whip the double speak down the drain that much quicker. Isn't it, Zanik? So you're saying that if I jump onto a pendulum, that's not a spinning reference frame?
If you'd like to, and look at it from another reference frame.
Oh, we're back to this. Not allowed to sit on the pendulum and be on the inertial reference frame, travelling through an inertial reference frame in a straight line and not spinning. We're not allowed. It's just back to, just remember, they probably had a little meeting. Just remember, Zanik, if it all goes wrong, always go back to begging the question and asserting that everything's one reference frame and it's all spinning. That way the argument's always going to come back to a spinning, win, lose or draw, unless someone scuppers that like Nathan.
You can leave that reference frame if you'd like.
You can leave it? You just made it explicitly clear that you can't leave it. You double-speaking bastard.
You're putting words in my mouth. No, that's...
Putting words in your mouth? You cannot leave the spinning reference frame. Now you've just said you can leave it. You double-speaking bastard. See, you're never going to win here, fundy fuck. I'm never going to let this past. You're never going to squeeze anything past me, Zanik.
Point. It's your point of observation.
Yeah. Like I said, they had a little meeting. They said, if it's going badly, make sure you always revert back to being a pervert and watching people swing on a pendulum. Pervert is the position of the day. Make sure you're always watching what happens. Talk about watching, because where are you watching from? Well, you're watching from a presupposed spinning Earth. So win. Unless Nathan completely rapes the argument, and then it doesn't work so well.
Nope. On the merry-go-round is one reference frame. On a park bench,
I thought nothing left reference frames, Zanik.
What's that?
I thought nothing left reference frames. Now you're saying you could just choose to leave the reference frame? Which one is it?
From that reference frame. If you're looking from a reference frame.
See, pervert mode. Ching! Predicted again, about the 7th time on this show. So back into watching, are we, pervert?
Now, if you want to look at it from a different...
Yeah, bet we want to look at it, you pervert. You want to look, you pervert. You've got to be looking. That's the order of the day. Look from a claim to be spinning Earth always. That's your game. You've been rumbled. It's never going to work.
You can change the point of reference.
Oh! Contrary to what you've been stating for quite some time on this show, that you can't just change references. You can't just jump onto another reference. No, apparently you can't.
You could change the point of reference. Isn't that the reference frame?
Different reference frame. Hey.
Yeah, that's right. Chocolate.
Are you all right, Zanik?
So we can change reference frames, Zanik. We can. Let's just get it clear. We can change reference frame.
Where you're measuring things from.
Yeah, from you watching as a pervert, right? Is it definitely always going to be from the position of the watcher, watching me and Miley?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, you're damn right it is, you pervert. You've got to be watching us. This tender moment cannot go unwatched by voyeurs. We must be watched by perverts who think they live on a sphere. They've always got to be watching, because they've always got to assert their spinning, because they're fundamentalist religious zealots. Even though we don't see any deviation here, ladies and gentlemen, except for the pendulum, which Nathan and Miley are sat swinging through an inertial reference frame straight. Everything's spinning, though. Always spinning. apart from something that rapes it. Me and Miley, shitting all over it all day long.
Reference frame from an inertial reference frame, the pendulum will go straight back.
From an inertial reference frame, yeah. You watching again, how many times are we going to do this? It's going down the drain really quick. Me and Miley aren't watching from an inertial spinning frame, though, are we? Me and Miley aren't watching from the spinning frame. Silence. Love it.
Where do you want to be?
Taste it. I can taste your tears, bitch.
Nathan, it's your choice.
Yeah, it's my choice to sit on this pendulum in the inertial reference frame, swinging forward and backward and not spinning. Contrary to your bullshit, fundamentalist religious assertion that everything's always spinning, and it must be the non-inertial spinning reference frame always. Always the spinning reference frame, you say?
What?
Yeah, tell me about how you're watching me and Miley.
From the spinning reference frame? From the
Yeah. You see? Round and round we go. He's got to be watching. I keep saying about me and Miley, we're swinging back and forth. We're not part of any spinning reference frame. That's what pendulums do. Back and forth, but round and round we'll go. And every time I point that out, you'll say, no, I must assert my fundamentalist religious assertion that we're on a spinning reference frame. And everything's taking place in a spinning reference frame because it's all you've got.
Man, you are seriously confused.
Is that your rebuttal?
Yeah, you're confused.
That's your rebuttal.
Massive rejection.
So the rebuttal to the claim that Earth rotates underneath a pendulum in its inertial frame. It's swinging back and forth in a straight line. That's an inertial frame of reference. The Earth is claimed to be a non-inertial spinning reference turning underneath. Separately. Not part of it. That's what's claimed. The only unfortunate and devastating fact that remains, if Earth's rotating underneath a pendulum in its inertial reference frame, then planes and helicopters and gyroscopes and anything that's in the inertial reference frame would also exhibit Earth rotating underneath. Unfortunately, that would include you, the audience member, if you jump up and down on the spot right now. Earth is claimed to rotate underneath. And if you push up on your drone and watch your drone go up, apparently it's deviating away from you as Earth rotates underneath that drone. But you don't observe it. That doesn't happen. Earth's not rotating.
The ball deflecting all happen inside the non-inertial reference frame.
You're a stuck record. All you can do is tell us how you must be a voyeur and watch.
How you know, and John laughed at this earlier. You know how you'll know you're in a non-inertial reference frame?
See, you know how we know we're on a spinning ball Earth that I presuppose?
You can determine if you're in a room and things aren't following Newtonian mechanics, you can say, I am in a non-inertial reference frame.
The laws of Newton were not right. Richard Feynman.
I mean, Zanuck, we could end all this pain real quick if you just demonstrate to us or show us where Coriolis effect on Earth has been demonstrated. I mean, you could just shut it down right now. Can you just show us that?
Yeah, I can show you that. Low pressure system rotating counterclockwise in the northern hemisphere.
I didn't say words. I said, can you show us that? This effect that's supposed
Well, we
to
only
happen
have
on
words
Earth?
to go on here. Chocolate. We only have words to go on here because we're on a Discord server.
Well, I mean, this is something that this is known, right? I mean,
What?
it's all over the place, right? There should be a
Hurricanes are not
video or
example-
something.
Excuse me. Hurricanes are not example of Coriolis effect. Coriolis effect is an apparent deflection. Hurricanes are actual spin directions. You're a moron. Thanks.
Right? You're all rotating together. But you know what's funny? When you're on that rotating merry-go-round, that things look like they're not moving. The things that look like they're moving are outside that frame of
No
reference.
merry-go-rounds. You're on hurricanes. What's going to be next? Toilet water spin. You're a clown.
No,
That's it.
you're the clown. You don't understand reference frames, and it's pretty obvious. Things don't leave the reference frame when you throw them. things don't leave that a non-inertial reference frame when you throw. I'll say it again. When you throw them, you know why? Because they're all in that coordinate system. They don't leave it. They can't leave it. Now you can leave it if you want to change your view, your perspective, your observation point. You can leave that.
Well, you can't leave it then. So you said you can't leave
So
it.
you can't leave it, but you can leave it.
Yeah, you can. Yes.
Throw
You
something.
can't
that
leave
doesn't
it, but you can leave it. Thanks, Anik.
Yeah.
Thanks for clearing that up.
Because it's for where you're looking at things from, right? It's a point from which you're looking at things from.
But how do you get there, Zanuck? If you can't leave your current position, how do you get to that other viewpoint to look at it from another place if you can't leave?
No, things that you're looking at in that non-inertial cannot leave it. You're right. Things that you're looking. I'll say it
don't
again.
change my words.
I'll say it again. Things that you are looking at.
Yeah, he's got to focus on what's being looked at, right? And I want to, just for a moment, you won't let me, but just for a moment, I want to talk about not looking at and observing anything, but the trajectory that, for example, a pendulum takes. And I want to know about the trajectory, not the observation of its trajectory, but the trajectory of the pendulum. And I want to know if the trajectory, if it was plotted, would the plotting of the trajectory of the pendulum be on a spinning reference frame, or would you plot it out in a straight line?
From hey, where are you looking at the pendulum from? Where?
I just said I don't want to talk about looking at the pendulum. I made that absolutely abundantly and crystal clear. We are not going to be looking at it. I tried to make the example where we don't look at it and make you a pervert. That didn't work either. Now I'm saying it explicitly. I do not want this example to be describing looking at anything. I'm going to be describing a trajectory, not an observation of a trajectory, but a trajectory. And we are going to plot the path of a trajectory.
From what perspective? From what?
We're not looking at it. We're plotting the trajectory of a pendulum.
Hey!
Hey! We must look at it.
From where? Where are you looking?
I knew it. Every time I'm getting the prediction in quicker and quicker now. This time the prediction was within moments of the prediction coming true. Absolutely epic. From where? We've got to be looking at it. No, we're plotting the path of the pendulum, not what we observe of the path, just the path of the pendulum.
From what perspective?
You've got to look at it. The perspective that it travels. The movement of the pendulum itself. The line that it takes. The straight line. That is what we are going to plot. We are going to put a frame around it and plot the motion of the pendulum. The actual, not actual, not apparent from your position, but the actual trajectory of the pendulum. Is that plot, that plotting, that trajectory, a curved spinning trajectory, i.e. a trajectory represented by a non-inertial spinning reference frame? That, ladies and gentlemen, is yet another stone cold silence because it's the end of his argument. His argument doesn't involve having an inertial reference frame unless we go to space and observe things happening below the ground like hurricanes. Total horseshit. But when I ask him and make it concise about what frame is what, and in this case, the trajectory, what frame is that? I know what frame. It's the inertial frame. Not the spinning frame, the separate frame, a separate reference frame. One he's denying, one he's saying you can only get if you're God watching from space, because he's a fundamentalist zealot, and thinks that he's God, because in that example he's watching it happen. But I'm asking about the inertial trajectory, not how it's viewed, so we'll try again, and see if we get another stone cold silence. What, if plotted, is the path, i.e. trajectory, of a pendulum? Zanuck.
Is the path doing what?
What is the trajectory or plotted path of the pendulum? The actual motion, the actual path when plotted. Is that path a non-inertial spinning path in a spinning frame?
You're talking gibberish. That doesn't make
What frame of reference is a pendulum moving through? It's moving straight. I'm plotting it. What frame of reference is that?
Wait, hold on. From the inertial frame of reference.
No, not from the inertial frame. I said, what frame is that motion?
Non-inertial frame of reference, it occurs.
He can't do it. Can't do it. It's not part of his religion. Can't be done.
Right.
Can't be done. We're at an impasse because the Fundy Zealot cannot compute this. I talk about the trajectory of the inertial frame, and he says, from where? From where? Because he's got to argue from a reification sphere world that's spinning at every opportunity. It's the last ditch attempt. Clearly come up with a little Fundy meeting between them, with George deciding this is also the path they're going to take. We're plotting the path of the pendulum.
Non-inertial frame of reference.
No, not the non-inertial frame of reference. We're talking about a pendulum, and we're plotting the actual path. Say, how many times have we got to say this? If you are watching this right now, and you believe the Earth is a sphere, you are in allegiance with this man, this fundamentalist religious zealot, who cannot, under any circumstance, remove himself from the paradigm. And answering my question about the trajectory of this pendulum removes him from the paradigm. So it cannot be done. Now, you who are watching are essentially in allegiance with a fundamentalist religious zealot in this regard, because this is in regards to their lack of proof of Earth spin. Coriolis deviation is claimed to prove the Earth spins. We do not see Coriolis deviation. Zanek's rebuttal, we're all in one reference frame, it's always spinning. Then I ask him to detail the reference frame, the trajectory, the actual path of a pendulum, and he can't do it.
In an inertial frame of reference, the pendulum moves straight as an arrow.
So that's not spinning non-inertial reference frame then?
Now it's in the inertial.
Yep.
Zanuck.
Yeah, he said that everything, including the pendulum, was in the spinning reference frame. Now he's just declared that the pendulum's in the inertial frame. You double-speaking, lying Fundy, fuckwit bastard. You're a zealot. You're a double-speaker, and you're a liar.
It's not rotating. Or if your
Zanny, do you think we're not?
He just said, hold on, chocolate, hold on, chocolate. He just said,
I'm sorry.
He just said not rotating. Those were the words he just used.
Start to move, all bets are off. Things don't
But
act
if it's
the
not
same
rotating now it's not in the non-inertial reference frame, right? Because everything in the non-inertial reference.
No,
So now
not
it's
according to
actually rotating.
Zanuck. He just said a few minutes ago. Hold on, chocolate. Zanuck said a few minutes ago the inertial rotating reference frame. Zanuck,
Yeah, I heard that.
2019.
Yep. And now it's inertial. Now the pendulum's in the inertial reference frame. When few times already he said everything is in the non-inertial one, right?
Yes,
that too.
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
That's where I was trying to lead him the whole time, chocolate. He has declared at the start of this endless diatribe that everything is in the non-inertial reference frame that's spinning. Now he's just made it plain he's wrong. By his own admission, he's just detailed the pendulum moving straight as an arrow in the inertial frame. So absolutely not, as declared by Zanuck, who is wrong, is it the case that everything, as he declared, is in that spinning reference frame that he thinks is a globe Earth that spins, because he's just contradicted himself and made it plain that it moves straight, not the inertial frame of reference that he insists everything is in. You're wrong.
I didn't say the inertial frame of reference everything is in. I said...
Yeah, you did. You said the non-inertial reference frame that's spinning, everything is in. Now you've declared that the inertial frame has things moving straight. That's two separate frames. So no, if it's moving straight, it's not, as you stated earlier, in the non-inertial spinning reference frame. Double speaking now and saying, no, I didn't say inertial reference frame, is also not going to get past me.
Nathan, does the pendulum...
Fuck you. I'm not answering anything, you lying bastard. You are scum. All you are here, I don't know your motivation, but the only reason you're here is to perpetuate a religious viewpoint about a world we don't live on, a model that we don't exist in. We don't live on a spinning sphere, but you're here in the face of things that blatantly contradict that, including your own words here today. You're here to obfuscate the reality we live in and perpetuate a lie that we live on a sphere that spins. Now, your way of obfuscating and lying about this world that we don't live in, of a spinning sphere, is to say everything is always in the non-inertial spinning reference frame of a globe Earth. Now, we've finally got to the point where you say it's moving straight as an arrow. Yeah? That's not in line with your initial claim.
Everything in the non-inertial frame of reference on the globe.
Yeah, we know you've got to reify your religion. Just saying it again isn't going to be a defence here, you fundy bastard.
Everything is in that non-inertial frame of reference.
Just asserting your fucking religious belief here isn't going to be a defence. You fucking fundy zealot globeheads make me sick.
I believe it. You got it right.
Yeah, we've got to believe it. We've got to believe we're on a sphere. Praise be to sphere. Yeah, we know. We've heard it all before. It just descends into you demanding we believe you live on a sphere.
Around the Earth.
Yeah, around. You're just descending into verbal diarrhea about your religious faith.
Oh my God.
Yeah, oh my God, and feigned exasperations. You've contradicted yourself, sir.
No, I
so many times I've lost count.
You don't even know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I do. You're saying everything is always in a non-inertial spinning reference frame that is a globe Earth. Praise be to globe. It must be a spinning globe Earth. Therefore, everything takes place on a spinning globe Earth. Therefore, everything's always in a non-inertial spinning reference frame. And it's taken about an hour, probably longer, for you to get to the point where you concede what happens with the pendulum. That's not a non-inertial spinning reference frame. You can just jump onto a pendulum, which is moving in a straight line, straight as an arrow. An inertial frame, a separate frame, something you claim doesn't exist unless you view from space. You fundy lying fuck.
Yeah. From the inertial frame of reference, it moves straight. From the non-inertial frame of reference, it actually starts rotating.
So that's two reference frames, as asserted by the globe Earth religion, that proves Earth spins. So from the pendulum, Earth would be claimed to be rotating underneath the pendulum. Unfortunately, if Earth rotates as a non-inertial spinning reference frame underneath the inertial frame that is a pendulum, an aeroplane, a drone, or a ball thrown in a straight line, then you have an Earth that rotates underneath drones and planes and helicopters and pendulums. But we don't observe that with planes. Earth does not rotate underneath. If it did, a flight from Charlotte, North Carolina to LA wouldn't take 4.5 hours. It would take an hour and a half.
Ask me the question. Because Nathan doesn't want to listen.
Thank you. That's it.
Listen to what?
He's toast.
You contradicted yourself. You're telling me that I'm not listening while I'm summarizing your contradiction. Yeah? I'm summarizing your contradiction.
Nathan never listens.
Let me make a statement then. If you're so confident.
You've made plenty. You stated it's all in the non-inertial spinning reference frame. Until only about 5 minutes ago, where you said the pendulum's moving in a straight line. That's the inertial frame. Something you've claimed we don't have unless you view from space.
Inertial reference frame, it is. From the inertial reference frame,
then it's not
moving in the straight line.
So then it's not two reference frames there.
You said we only have one reference frame. Only one frame. Everything's on the non-inertial reference frame. And then you made sure that we were always viewing any effects and describing them from your viewpoint on that presupposed spinning Earth. The only problem is, we've figured it out. Rumbled you, and we've pointed it out every single time. We've had plenty of protracted silences when we ask you to describe whether or not we've got an inertial frame in the form of a pendulum. We get stony silences.
Things from any reference frame you want.
Okay. I want to view things.
But when you are looking.
Okay, I want to view things from the inertial frame. Would I be able to do that if I sat on a pendulum?
when you are looking at things from an inertial reference frame.
No, I said sat on the pendulum. But of course, he's not listening.
Another reference frame.
He's not listening to me. Because I just asked if I could experience the inertial reference frame by sitting on a pendulum. But he's not listening to me because he's a fundy.
I'm trying, but I can't. I'm doing this. This is a...
What, trying to listen by talking through me? You're not trying to listen. You're trying to obfuscate. I said, can I experience the inertial frame by sitting on a pendulum?
Of mercy.
Yeah, you're not listening. Let's just throw back your accusation at me again. Your Discord rumpusing rather than listening to the demolition of your globe earth religion. I'm proving it's not spin. I'm proving it's not spinning by proving there's no Coriolis deviations, Anik. But you don't want to listen. And you want to tell me that I'm not listening to you.
You just talk over me.
No, you're projecting what you're doing. You're never listening to a word that's being said. And you're constantly talking over everybody. Discord rumpusing so you don't have to address questions. And when I make the point to make sure that you've heard, and it's known that you've heard, there's a long, stony silence while you don't answer any situation that involves something that deviates from your assertion that everything is constantly on a non-inertial spinning reference frame that is your reification of a spinning ball earth in a vacuum. Whenever it goes beyond that point, you Discord rumpus the point, don't listen and talk through every word I say, when I point out that according to your rhetoric, sitting on a pendulum would be you sat on an inertial frame, flying in the face of your assertion that everything is always on the non-inertial frame. Simply not the case, not part of your globe earth rhetoric, not part of your religion, and a clear example that you don't understand Coriolis effect or reference frames.
You don't.
No, you don't. You think we're always continually in one reference frame. And it's taken 2 hours or so of us pointing out that me and Miley defy that, with you giving us stone cold silences and rumpusing.
Seriously? That's all you got,
The
Chocolate?
rumpusing starts now again.
Chocolate.
So we started having a reasonable
Have the
conversation.
courage.
And then Zanuck started
You
talking through
understand.
me. Because of course, we're back to me pointing out that Miley Cyrus and I fly in the face of his claim that everything's constantly in one reference frame. It isn't, and me and Miley defy that.
It is.
But that would require him
It
to
is.
do
If
what
you're
he's
looking
doing
at it
now,
from a reference
which is talking through the
looking
point.
at it from
And at the end of him
reference
starting
frame.
now,
Hey,
talking
hey,
through me,
hey,
he'll
if
claim
you
I've talked through him.
Proving something in a reference frame, nothing.
Yeah, he's just talked through every word I've just said. At the end of this, me pointing out that he's talked through every word I've said, because it's not going to be an address, because he's not going to get to listen, and then he'll claim I've talked through him.
Yeah,
There are infinite amount of reference frames.
Listen, it seems like the blind sniper had something to add.
Oh yeah, he's been adding the whole time under his breath. So
Okay,
I don't
okay,
know.
blind
Maybe he can do this better.
Yeah, blind sniper, you want to take a shot at it?
No, I'm just here to laugh at you.
Oh, you're laughing at us. What a
Well,
great argument.
why don't you use your argument to destroy us? How about that? Go ahead. The floor is
I would
yours.
rather just laugh at you.
The floor is
Okay.
yours, Mr. Rhodes Scholar. Oh, I'll just laugh. Yeah, you'll laugh because you're a moron. That's why.
I mean, it's your shot,
You're
bro.
welcome to have your opinion.
Take the
I
shot.
just want to laugh at you.
Take the shot, blind sniper.
Take the shot, bro. What you got?
Be careful.
Do better than Zanuck.
I don't have a
Be
bullet
careful,
loaded, so
be careful,
there's no
guys.
shot.
You
Here
might
it comes.
trigger him.
There's no bullet loaded, so there's no shot.
So, they're saying that you've been muttering under your voice the whole time. What do they mean by that?
Yeah, I'm just here to laugh at you. That's it.
Laugh at me?
All of y'all.
Yeah, I can hear that. I don't find this funny. I actually see Zanuck.
You don't have to. I find it funny. You don't have to find it funny.
That's nice. I don't find it funny because I see Zanuck as a fundamentalist religious zealot who is lying to both me and my audience.
You lie to your audience just as much as anybody else does. So
Give me an example.
That's why I find it funny.
So I'll just try and give you an example that's happened on this very show. Zanuck asserted that everything is always in a non-inertial spinning reference frame that is a claim to be spinning ball Earth. I pointed out that sitting on a pendulum would defy that, and it got lots of stony silences and obfuscation, and him claiming that even sat on a pendulum is a spinning reference frame. And then when asked to clarify, he always took it to the position of him, the pervert, watching us, when I made it clear that we're sat on it, and I want it to be the actual trajectory, not the apparent trajectory. But he didn't. He lied and constantly took it back to an apparent position that he observed. So he's a liar and a double speaker, and his purpose in doing that is to lie about the nature of our reality. That disgusts me. I don't find it funny. Now I'd like you to explain...
Well, I find it funny that discusses you, but at the same time you lie to your audience.
I ain't finished. Now I'd like you to know, I'd like you to detail the lie that I've told, please.
I know you would like that, but I'm not here to argue. I'm just here to laugh at you.
Sorry, you claimed I lied.
I claim that I'm here to laugh at you.
You also claimed I was
I think
a
he's
liar.
mentally challenged.
You also claimed I was a liar
over and over again.
And
Because y'all
I'm
just
now
don't
asking
seem
you
to
to give
get
that
it.
example.
That's the reason I'm here. Nothing else.
What?
So
to
don't
laugh?
call me out unless you just want me to sit here and laugh at you on the air. So
Yeah,
that's
laugh
it.
at what?
Don't call me
laugh
out.
at what? Me getting upset at people being fundamentalist religious zealots who lie to you and me and the audience? I'm saying why I don't find that funny.
Because the fact that what you say describes you exactly. You are a fundamentalist, religious
I see
liar.
what this is. This
It is
is
funny.
you taking the easy route out, right? So you don't want to have the argument because you'll get destroyed. So you'll just sit here and say, "Oh, I'm just here to laugh."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your
No, that is
fantasy has
actually
become
not true.
completely
This is something that y'all do
disentangled
as
with
well.
reality.
You
It
don't
does
claim
no longer
anything, so
Another
we can't destroy
baseless
you on
assertion.
things.
Another
Simple
baseless
as that.
assertion.
I'm hip to
from
your
the
game
Globetards.
already. I know exactly
Just
what you do.
another
I
baseless
find it funny.
assertion from you, the blind sniper, Mr. Curved Tile. So, you want to try something novel?
I think you just have a
and
limited
support
vocabulary because you keep saying the
your
same thing over and
claim.
over.
Support
That's because y'all
your
don't
claim.
get it.
Don't overtalk me. It ain't gonna fucking work. Support your claim. You said Nathan lied. Show where he lied right now.
Liars.
Rest in peace,
Liars.
Virus.
Second grade.
Y'all
playground.
create great amusement. I love this. Keep it going.
We
This
heard.
guy's supposed to be better than Zanuck? Really?
No, but apparently he was muttering constantly under his breath about us being liars. Now he's actually
I
leveled
think
that
he
at
has
me.
a limited. I think he just has a limited vocabulary because he's only said the same things like over and over again. Do you have a limited vocabulary? Are you educated?
I think it's the blind coward.
Sorry, but Zanuck has been just completely disconnected from reality for a while now, and he can no longer what he's envisioning connect to actual reality. I see him struggle. He goes in all directions because he can't distinguish it anymore. That's what's going on.
I think he's
Clinical
delusional.
psychosis.
Yeah.
We don't have to worry. We don't have to worry about diagnosing him. Don't worry about it. Let's get another one. Right? I see a lot of ballers in here.
Next.
Share your pain.
Step up.
Next.
Take the shot.
Most of the ballers in here are just. Most of the ballers that are in here are just keyboard warriors. They just do the typing thing. Like they're too
Right.
scared to talk to us.
The typing thing.
And they're also waiting for the after show to be over. And when you guys leave, then they, return and profess how the atmosphere is lockstep with the earth and all that nonsense.
Right.
I noticed that.
Why don't-
Yeah, they
why
wait
don't
for
they say
Nathan
that
to
now?
go away, and they just get up on everybody.
What's wrong, guys? Why don't we say that? Get it all out now. Come on. Get it all out. Atmosphere, lockstep, all of that.
I see Mark Taylor in here 3 years ago, I put that knucklehead right up against the wall with the same argument, the Coriolis effect. He was dumbfounded when I said, but my argument isn't about the Coriolis effect. What? What? You know, Mark Taylor. You remember that, don't you? I do. Clown. Where's another one?
He's saying the end of the
I mean,
after show.
what are you guys even scared of? Like, you outnumber us. You're 29 people in here. You're obviously like more than us. Like, why are you even scared right now?
Oh,
Because
boy.
we have nothing to defeat us.
Go ahead, Nathan. What did you say? I couldn't hear you.
Xanax the only one that's got balls in here?
No, not that. Nathan was saying something.
No, it wasn't me.
Oh, sorry about that.
I'm just intrigued that when we leave, they start their fundy rhetoric after we've gone.
Oh, they'll stay in here for hours. I've come back in here late in the evening and they're still in here. I'm talking 8 o'clock in the evening my time. I'm talking 7 hours from now. They'll still, a lot of them will still be in here.
Yep.
Amazed.
Are these guys employed? Like, do they have jobs? Like, how can you do this every day? Are you unemployed?
They're slobber nurses. Let them out for recess every now and again.
You shouldn't say anything, John. You were challenged yesterday, and you.
Who says this isn't their job?
Say again, Armin?
I say you shouldn't say anything. You were challenged yesterday, and you refused to do it.
Who's talking? Who's talking, please?
That sounds like SX. Who challenged him? What happened?
Who challenged me?
Yesterday, Ranty told you that you were being summoned and you rejected. So.
By who? George?
I mean,
are you kidding?
Are you just gonna laugh? Hold on. Are you just gonna laugh?
SX.
Is that your answer?
You're not.
Yeah,
serious,
that's my
right?
answer. I don't debate institutionalized crayon munchers that think closed thermoses are open systems. You're correct.
Well, you shouldn't say anything to these people that don't want
And
to.
the scumbag human being that got a fellow professional fired. I don't debate them. And plus, I've had numerous toe tags on my channel with that same retard. Numerous. So no, I don't waste my time with retards. Give me some new meat. I want the Neil deGrasse Tysons. I'm up in my game. I want the Brian Coxes. I want the talking heads of your fairy tale spinning ball religion, and I'm going to drag them around by their short hairs. Then I'm going to eviscerate them, and then I'm going to set fire to their entrails.
But John, the problem about the talking heads is they're just reading a script, and the ones that are actually making the script simply don't have a viable answer anymore. They had a lot of tricks in the bag that they've been throwing at us, but now we know their tricks inside and out, and they're running out of tricks. So yeah, if you're just gonna go up against some talking heads, those people don't know anything. Literally, they're just reading scripts all day.
And with that, I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who tuned in on the Nathan Oakley 1980 premiering stream for hopefully smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, and all that good stuff. Hopefully, if my timing is perfect, then IRM will be firing up the Have No Sphere show over on Iron Realm Media. So I'll stick a link if I'm watching this on Nathan Oakley 1980 with you. I've been Nathan Oakley. A massive thank you to all of today's debating panel for making the after show possible. Again, a thank you to all of you in the live audience, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!